I mean, we are not complaining. So they should also not be complaining when we take our Africanism over there.
Actually, it is
yeah.
The human nature is best studied in such circumstances.
Yes.
When roles are reversed. Because you colonize these people, they come with their culture, and given the backgrounds they've come from, if, say, for instance, someone was of Asian descent,
yes,
and they were Ugandans, my friend, they lost everything. Okay?
Yes.
Underline it, circle it in red, and again, everything. And this everything, these fellows did not come from India as wealthy people. They were the most ordinary people you could ever come across. Doing ordinary jobs.
Yes.
But they understood how to accumulate money and how to do business.
And here they
are. And they did. Now, take that mind 2 generations down the line to the UK. The UK had the culture of doing things. Unafungua duka saa 3. Unaenda lunch. Hours. Kifika 6, unafunga. Let me use your term. Imbogi.
Yeah. Imbogi.
Bro.
24 hours.
Kabisa. Because analala nyuma hiyo shop. So ukitaka kitu, amekufungulia. This is xenophobia in South Africa.
Yeah.
Nilipoanza kuisikia nilikuwa nikifanya kibarua South Africa. And I talked about Kenyans. And I asked about and found out. Hours wetu walikuwa wameenda township. Wa Kenya tu.
Ndio.
A good mix of them. Unajua Mkenya na biashara atatengeneza pesa. Halali.
Pesa inatengenezwa.
He'll sleep standing. Now, Imbogi ambayo ilikuwa inauza vitu katika township. Same mzungu attitude. Saa 3
funga shop,
saa 6 na lunch.
Asubuhi hata unachelewa kufungua.
Yes, unakuja 4 o'clock 5 umefunga. Kenya, hiyo duka iko na liquor license.
Yes.
Hata anaweza kuuzia gari, anakuambia tuko kwa store. Unataka gari. There is nothing that person will not sell you.
Huyu jamaa anauza gas.
And analala hapo. So saa zile ukikuja
anakusort
license, amejanga ka canopy, mnaweza kukaa hapo mpiga. Bwana, kuna jamaa na baa pale anasema huyu jamaa ananiuza. Anauza. It was a cultural shock for our brothers and sisters there. Other people like Nigerians who also understand business. Hii mambo ya kulala kama kuna pesa kutengenezwa, wajua, it's alien. Again, it is learned behavior. We here had found a way of Africans taking over business, okay, and finding the way doing it, and 2 communities spearheaded that. Kwanza ilianza na Wakikuyu. They took her from the Indian who was all over Kenya.
Yes.
Then came the Somali, then who went all over Kenya. All these are Kenyans.
Yes.
But they are doing business the way Kenyans understand business. Now you take that to another country where they don't do things that way. Do you know it's a bit of a culture shock for them?
Yes, it
because
is. They
know you came poor, dirt poor. They know. 10 years you're wealthy. 20 years millionaire status imeingia. You give it another 20 years billionaire status. The thinking, the way they look at life, they take very little for granted.
True.
And that is why you'll find they have relatives this part of the world, that part of the world.
They are all over.
They understood. Hii kitu kama lima moja inaweza umia.
You have got to expand your horizon.
Long story short, what I've just said is the history of colonization now being reversed. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
All right.
Yes, but my weekend was good.
Umefanya vizuri tena sana. Tupatie methali yetu. Last week tulikuwa Gabon.
Sisi natoka Gabon kidogo tu nakuja kidogo tunaingia Sudan.
All right.
I'm going to read some depressing information about Sudan.
All right.
Depressing in the sense that when you see Sudan, the state that it's in, I want you to understand. Okay? Jamaa walipata independence kitambo kama 58 hivi independence wamepata, si ndio?
1958.
Kitambo, jamaa walipata kitambo. 57 rather. 58, they have a bloodless coup led by the PM Abdullah Khalif. It was a democratic government elected. Okay?
Yes.
Amekaka kidogo 10 years later, kuna jamaa anaitwa Colonel Jafar Numeri. Okay? 25th May 1969. He overthrows the government, the end of a democratic elected government.
Okay.
1971, July 19th, the Major Hasham Al-Afa briefly ousted Numeri but was counter-couped yani ametoa Numeri akatoa yeye.
Okay.
Same here.
So okay. na kutoa unakuja unanitoa.
Ndio hivyo. Same haikukaa sana. Wewe alikuwa mdogo wa huyu jamaa. Okay? 6 April 1985, money ukipiga hesabu, that is 14 years down the line.
Yes.
There's a coup led by General Field Marshal Adel Rahman Sware Ardafaid against who? Numeri.
Wow.
Sasa Field Marshal ameingilia hii kitu. Ndio. Amekaa for exactly 3 years. June 30th, Omar al-Bashir seizes power.
And that was the end.
Rules for 30 years. Until he was overthrown in 1991. April 11th, 2019, President Omar al-Bashir ousted by Sudan Armed Forces. Na jamaa alikuwa generali pia, ujue. Okay. 25th October 2021, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan staged a coup dissolving the Sovereignty Council. Sasa army wenyewe kwa wenyewe wanazozana. Bro. When the RPF walipo and that this was a rapid deployment group that was set up to quell issues in places like Darfur and so forth.
Yes.
Essentially to kill people and tell them to get away. Why? The oil fields. Sudan is Africa's 3rd largest producer of gold.
Yes.
After Ghana, 2nd is South Africa, 3rd is Sudan, 4th is Mali, 5th is Burkina Faso. So ukisikia shida za Burkina Faso na Mali unajua. Okay? It has iron ore, chromite, industrial minerals, brother, and the list goes on. Why am I telling you this story?
Yes.
Because this is the story of our continent. How we've allowed others to come into our continent.
Yes.
And guarantee that the very thing that we should be doing for people we can't do because we are busy fighting each other.
Yeah. That's the problema.
Yeah, let me just mention a proverb for the day.
Okay.
If your relatives are dogs, make a tail for yourself.
If your relatives are dogs,
yep,
make a tail for yourself.
Unajua wewe huko mbali, wewe pia ni jibwa. Kwa fupi.
Naam. Ni kama tu ile mtoto wa nyoka ni nyoka.
Hapo tu.
Lakini watu wa Sudan wako na nini? Wako na methali. I can't wait to hear the one for tomorrow.
Bado hujasikia zingine wewe. Maana kuna zingine kali bo. Hawa chezi. Yes.
Hiyo nitangoja kusikia za kesho. But yes, indeed, when you find yourself in an environment where everyone is a type away, sana your relatives, my friend, just know that you are one and the same.
Don't start thinking that you're different. You're not.
You're not so special after all.
No, you are not.
Okay.
So if you see a Kenyan doing something strange, please don't be too. You're a Kenyan. You have the similar traits. You just pretend you don't, but you do.
Aye. Tuingie pale www.radiogeneration.co.ke. Our first story is about Mother's Day, which was yesterday. Happy Mother's Day. Happy belated Mother's Day. Second Lady Joyce Kithure has called for stronger support for women through economic and social empowerment, saying it is key to building resilient families and communities across Kenya. Speaking on Sunday during Mother's Day celebrations in Karen, she said empowering women remains central to national development, urging both leaders and citizens to invest in structures that enable mothers to thrive socially and economically. Jana Dr. Joyce Kithure alikuwa amevaa acha niseme fashion yake ya jana ilikuanga tops. Si ati siku zingine inakuanga down, lakini ya jana ilikuwa topest.
Ili exceed.
From the hair, yes, to the dress, to the makeup. Yesterday she had gone all out for women. She hosted several women, hundreds I believe, at her current residence. Na watu walipata mautamu. Kama unajua wewe ni mama na ulienda huko, ulitoka na package mzuri sana. Because I saw them being given.
Walipewa furushi.
Isn't it furushi,
Ni zawadi.
Yeah.
Ndio.
And for the first time I saw her very vocal as opposed to other times. You know, when siku zingine hata huwa haonekani sana, hata haonekani na professor, sababu I'm sure she's busy doing her own things, and of course professor being the deputy president is busy doing politics. But yesterday this lady came out very, very vocal and strong.
Dada ni professor huyo.
So ali host akina mama jana, and I'm sure they had a good time.
Fanya jambo la maana sana bana.
Aya, sasa tuingie mambo ya wiki hii. First things first. Here's a story by Maureen Kinyanjui. New finance bill targets gamblers, mobile phones and scrap metal traders. Now I don't care about the rest. Hapo kwa mobile phones ndio iko na shida. Hebu tusome.
Mbona hivyo?
Mobile phones, wacha tusome ndio tuelewe. The Treasury has unveiled sweeping tax proposals that could see Kenyans pay more when activating mobile phones, collecting betting winnings, or trading scrap metal as the government moves to widen the tax base and raise revenue for the 2026-2027 budget. Contained in the Finance Bill of 2026, the proposal seeks major changes to income tax, VAT, excise duty, and tax administration laws, with the government targeting the digital economy, gambling sector, and parts of the informal trade that have largely escaped taxation. If approved by Parliament, most of the measures will take effect from July 1st, 2026, while some digital reporting requirements are expected to begin on January 1st next year. Sasa, wakianza kuongeza pesa ya simu, surely.
Wataongeza vitu vingi, bro. That one, just remember the time when we were discussing fuel. I told you, bro, I will start complaining if you get 200. But before then, I'm not going to quibble or worry. And they have made sure haijafika 200, 199.
It is literally just there.
But it's there. Now, hapo sasa, and then I can say, okay, nimeona, na nimeelewa, na ni shida.
History. I mean, look, I know money has got to come from somewhere. The governments don't run on magic. But tulikuwa tumesema mambo ya taxation. Hata Daktari William Ruto, sorry, alikuwa amesema bana, amechora history ya taxes.
Amechora, but the government got into bed with the IMF. IMF, I don't know why, we never learn. IMF will always give you terms and conditions for lending you money. It's never we've lent you, pay when you It's not just you will pay. While you're paying, you must do this and you must do the other and you must do this and you must. It is how they function. They didn't start yesterday. World Bank the same. It's not new. You want money from them, they are willing to give you, but on their terms. One of the things they do, they squeeze the living daylights out of the citizenry of that country. So
yeah,
here we are.
Scrap
the
metal,
living daylights are being squeezed out of us.
Scrap metal ni nene inatengeneza masufuria huku, vikombe zenye tunatumia, vijiko and so on and so forth. So of course when they increase that tax,
Paul, when they increase fuel, the cost of everything went up, literally. Okay? So now, if they want to have additional tax, you think this is the end of it. Rest assured, they are going to tax things that you never thought they would tax. If you happen to be one of those people who happens to have okay, may I backtrack a bit?
Please do.
Have you registered for SHA?
Yes, I have.
Okay. How much do you pay?
Per year it comes to, because I paid the whole year, so 10,000 something.
Okay. I registered for SHA. I pay, I think, around 42,000 shillings per year.
Okay.
Okay.
Good for you.
Yes. Now, what am I saying? When you declare what it is that you earn,
yes,
from whatever sources, you accumulate it, they work on that. You can even see how they work on it. You can even see what they do. That happens to be what? One item. Ndio, umejoin. Sasa brother, if you have a pay slip,
yes, that
pay slip is going to be burdened. Now, the burden, Gava, just taking your money, if you remain with 40%, you're not doing too badly.
Yes.
Okay?
40% of 40% of your salary.
Whatever you earn. Or you're not doing too badly. Some 50, 60 maybe, but 40, 50, 60. Bro, when the price of oil goes up, the price of the things that you consume have also gone up. This money you remain with, whether it's 40% of your salary, 50 or 60, it will not carry through. It will not do what it used to do. Because the very things that you used to buy now cost more. Okay? So if you're talking about a situation where things will become thick for you, you think this is bad. the situation that we're seeing is going to get harder, not easier. It won't. It won't. There's a thinking that must be applied that goes beyond us just constantly borrowing and constantly trying to pay what we've borrowed. And constantly borrowing, and we do not see what we've borrowed for being used for what it was said. This is a constant state of affairs.
Hii ni normal city. Anyway, ninahurumia Wakenya wenzangu hata kuliko venye mimi najihurumia. Africa Forward Summit, a nod to Kenya's security leadership. Also still on matters Africa Forward, Ruto and Macron seal a 150 billion deal as Kenya hosts Africa France Summit.
It's not the first time this has happened. In 2018, when Macron visited Kenya, he was the first French president who visited Kenya.
Right.
He also had several deals, some 30-year contract deals with the then government of President Uhuru. Among the things that they had agreed to do, it wasn't the Ronnie Mau Summit Road. No. The French wanted to build the Mombasa Mau Summit Highway.
Yes.
Why they never got around to doing it is a story for another day. Okay? So this is more of a continuation that began in 2018. But what is significant is the conference.
Yeah.
Okay? Significant in this sense. When France announced that they were going to have this conference, this is me extrapolating.
Yes.
The Japanese foreign minister also came to Kenya. He was on a tour. Ametoka Mozambique, alikuwa anakuja huku. From here he was going to go to South Africa. Okay? Now, the Japanese are now talking of TICAD. TICAD is their cooperation, kama summit which they have, but it is with African countries. Okay?
Yeah.
The people who began these meetings, rather, at the same time, the Chinese also have their own. When Kibaki was president, when we knew of it, because a whole trooping of African presidents trooped off to China.
Yeah.
But TICAD, the Japanese summit with African countries, that one we understand because we see it regularly. Periodically, it is held in Japan, and it's held in one country in Africa. Now the French have come with theirs. Okay, so let's pause for a second. The British with their Commonwealth have been with us for a very long time.
Yes.
Buruburu, even in Commonwealth funding. Yes. The money that the government of Kenya was given to buy off the settlers, government, whether we paid that debt fully, I don't know. Okay. But what am I saying? There's a situation which is a double-edged sword here. It can present itself as an opportunity, but it can also damn us. When you see a large number of foreign countries, some were colonialists, some were not, trooping to come to Kenya for one thing or the other, for sure, the French have enormous difficulty in West Africa.
Yeah.
In some countries, they've actually been told to get out completely, go, and don't come back. Okay? They are now here. The question that must be answered is, how do you benefit from this? Straightforward question.
Yeah.
How do you benefit from this? The French have been very involved in water projects, not just in Kenya, in the region. They are big on water projects. Okay? They are big on cultural affairs. We'll be having a guest here from the Alliance to tell us more about the things they do. And by the way, this thing has been going on since the previous century.
Yeah.
And then no, it isn't. So the summit opens the door for yet another conversation and for us to ask the all-important question.
How do we benefit?
Thank you very much.
All right, let's check out the traffic in Nairobi.
Traffic.
Haya, sasa tukiangalia hapa hii barabara inaitwa kama Ngong Road. Ngong Road is looking good. A few spots, of course, like the junctions, will have a little bit of traffic, but I can tell you that at 6:32 you guys are moving quite well. Ring Road Kilimani iko sawa kabisa, Kikambala. Sehemu za Kitanga Road pia no complaints. Dennis Prit kule State House, hizo barabara ziko sawa. Tukiangalia Ngong Road also looking bad at this particular minute, but I cross over to Langata Road. Langata Road is looking good. Actually, I see only green, not even a single dot of red or yellow. Does that mean that there is no traffic? Well, there is traffic and it's moving absolutely beautifully well. But if I go to Magadi Road and I go back further to Ongata Rongai, hapa sasa ndio stress imeanza. Kama unatoka sehemu za Ngoroi unaelekea, that is through Magadi Road, unaelekea town, perhaps I just warn you in advance that you will find a few pockets of traffic, and they might delay you for a minute or two. But beyond that, I believe you will move quite well. Watu wa Runda naona mko sawa sana. Kitisuru sehemu hizo hazina shida yoyote. And then ni cross over to places like Karura. This is Limuru Road. Hiyo barabara yote iko sawa sawa kabisa. Gashie, Dederu, Agige, Durarua, huko mko sawa. Sitimo unacheka. Kwa sababu nimesema Wagige na Durarua. Durarua iko sawa, hiyo barabara yote haina shida. Then we come to this other side of Roysambu. Yeah? Let me tell you. You guys are moving quite well. See, that's the Kasarani area. Ruaraka, Kariobangi, and Kariobangi North. Those areas are looking good. That means that also if you're joining Outer Ring Road, you'll move quite well. But when you get to Thika Super Highway, today it is crazy. What's not happening? I mean, it's 11th. What's important about the day? Or has traffic been caused by the presence of President Macron of France? I don't know. But yes, I can tell you that if you're coming from Kenyatta University, man, that place is looking ugly, for lack of a better word. And it's stretching all the way to Survey, KCA University, up until Pangani. That place is bad. Also, traffic stretching from Kiambu Road. He's the same as a DCI. Kwa hivyo kama uko hapo, ingia huko usalimie kina Mohamed Amin, sababu I can tell you hakuna mahali unaenda, my friend. Aya, tuangalie Eastern Bypass sehemu za Embakasi. Not looking bad. A few pockets of traffic, but moving nonetheless. Last but not least, let me scoot over to Mombasa County. Mombasa County, the island of Mombasa is not looking bad. A few pockets of red with intermittent yellows. So that means the traffic is looking quite good. But I'm looking at places like Mbaraki, Mzimle, Shimanzi. Hizo barabara zote Makupa kule, Tuda, iko sawa kabisa. Alafu tukikuja bara la Afrika kule Bombolulu, kila kitu kiko shwari.
Traffic on Radio Generation.
It's time for us to check out what's making headlines in the newspaper, and I'll start with Taifa Leo. Gachagua angara UDA Ol Kalou. Gachagua angaria UDA kule Ol Kalou. Wanasema matokeo ya mchujo wa DCP na UDA yanaashiria hatari kwa kambi ya Ruto, ikizingatiwa pengo kubwa la kura. Sami Ngodho ndiye mchuani akitumia tiketi ya DCP, alafu Samuel Mushina anatumia tiketi ya UDA. So what exactly are they saying? Wapiga kura 23,000 walishiriki mchujo wa chama cha DCP, huku UDA ikivutia wapiga kura 8,000 peke yake. Mshindi wa mchujo wa DCP alizoa kura 12,000, huku wa UDA akipata kura 3,000 pekee. Hii ikiweka DCP katika nafasi nzuri ya kushinda uchaguzi mdogo ujao. Hiyo iko katika ukurasa wa pili. You know, this is actually, it makes so if 23,000 people showed up to decide who's going to be the flag bearer of UDA and DCP, and the DCP candidate was voted in by 12,000 people versus the UDA one who was nominated by 3,000 people. Yeah, that tells you a lot, eh? As far as Ol Kalou is concerned.
It does, but you need to wait for people to vote. These things, believe me,
yeah,
it is an indication that people have an interest in that position.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
Whether they'll vote for a political party, may I wait to see.
Rais William Ruto na mwenzake wa Ufaransa Emmanuel Macron wakutana katika ikulu ya Nairobi jana. Mataifa 39 ya Afrika yanatarajiwa kuwakilishwa katika kongamano la Afrika Ufaransa linaloanza leo Nairobi. Habari kamili ukurasa wa pili. Tajiri Dangote awazia kujenga kiwanda Mombasa. Tajiri nambari 1 Afrika asema mazingira ya Kenya ni bora zaidi. Hakuna nafuu ya ushuru wa mishahara. Serikali ya waruka wa Kenya wa mishahara ya chini baada ya kuahidi nafuu. Hiyo iko katika ukurasa wa pili. Pep sasa ni maombi tu. Ni baada ya Man City kushinda Brentford na kupunguza pengo baina yake na Arsenal. Salamu ya makatili Shakahola, shujaa wa vita vya uhuru, kukumbukwa kwa namna ya kipekee kaunti ya Kilifi. Aye. Hiyo iko katika ukurasa wa pili. Then we jump over to the Standard newspaper front page, and this is what it says. Fuel levy trap. The Treasury is set to saddle the country with billions in hidden debt through the road maintenance levy. The government plans to securitize an additional 5 shillings of the 25 shillings per litre levy to raise 120 billion, adding to 175 billion already borrowed to pay contractors. Critics call it debt by another name, warning that road agencies and counties will be left with less for repairs while public debt climbs. Kenyans may not see higher fuel prices yet, but motorists and taxpayers could ultimately bear the cost as hidden borrowing increases and the budget comes under more pressure. This story is on page 6. So, bumpy road ahead, that's what they're saying. That's the Standard newspaper. They're saying 5 shillings, that's the new securitization that brings the total to 12. 120 billion that the government has targeted using fuel levy cash. 68.2% has been projected debt to GDP ratio. 119 billion shillings amount Kenya collected from the fuel levy in 1 year, and there's a funding gap that the road sector faces of 256 billion. And then 25 shillings, that's the levy motorists pay on every liter of petrol and diesel.
This have you ever come across in documentation of what it is that this fuel levy collects for the government?
No, I haven't.
Well, neither have I. So when they mention these figures, I find them vague and not helpful. Because what is it against? Okay? You say you've removed 5 shillings. Okay, we get that. We know that that football field that they built on Gong Road,
Talanta Stadium. Right.
Yes, we understand that, we see it. But how much do we actually collect? This thing has been vague from the day it was initiated, and it was initiated quite a while back.
But can we have like a definite figure where we're told we usually collect, say, 100 million?
Awasemi. Hivyo nauliza, mbona awasemi?
Unless sasa tuambie mwezi wa May, this is how much was collected. January.
The number of vehicles that we have on the road pia ni hadithi ambazo zinatuelekeza katika nambari hizo ni hafifu. You're not even sure. The number of vehicles that we have gives you a clear indication of the sort of cost or what it is we spend in fuels.
Yes.
Let me leave it there. It is vague.
Okay.
We need to know.
Ushasema city. Star newspaper nasema France and Africa chart new course in Nairobi summit. New taxes loom for mobile users and gamblers in finance bill of 2026. DCP begins UK charm offensive ahead of 2027 general election. And then on page 9 nasema Oparanya calls for ODM ceasefire, claims rift hurting Ruto's re-election. He was yesterday in the news saying that he's finding it very hard to campaign for Ruto in ODM strongholds, because he says whenever he goes there anaulizwa maswali Sifuna ako wapi, and he's like, sasa mimi nitafanya nini? Unaona, mimi si mimi nilimfukuza, so we find a way to do what, to bring them back. I don't know how that is going to be achieved, but yes. But I like the fact that politicians are kind of being honest about the situations in their backyards. Kioni alikuja hapa akatuambia, my friend, we might hand this presidency back to President Ruto on a silver platter because as opposition hatujajipanga.
Bro, have you seen the dust that has created?
Oh yes. Yes.
If I needed confirmation that Kioni was speaking the truth, it is that. Whoa! The reactions.
Yes.
What he said was fairly neutral. Did you find anything insidious in
well, he said something that wouldn't be said out loud. It would probably be said behind closed doors. You know, wakipatana in their own party meetings or something. Hey guys, have you seen what Rigathi Gachagua is doing, guys? And then Rigathi Gachagua on the other side will be like, hey, have you seen what UDA is doing, guys?
But have you then considered why it is? Because he came here and said, guys, I've not slept well.
And he was like, guys,
this thing has been on my mind.
And I like the fact that even after the interview, after the mics went off, he was like, hey guys, nimechoma. And we told him, hujachoma, umesema ukweli. You know? And that is the truth that even parties need to tell themselves. They might not say it out loud on a radio station like this one, but
you know, this is a very high-ranking
official.
No politician.
Yes.
This man has been in a presidential election as a deputy.
He was a running mate.
Yes. So this man was the SG when...
SG, you mean?
What did I say?
You said AG.
I know he's a lawyer. Tongue getting the better of the brain.
Okay.
When Jubilee was in the throes of some enormous difficulties, and he sat through it all and saw the end of it. The gentleman who was buried, the architect.
Yes.
That man was a Jubilee
member of parliament.
Yes. He was a Jubilee member of parliament when there was a UD wave in central Kenya. And he stayed fast. He was clear. Okay? The complaint that one Kioni had, which made sense to me, was, this is a Jubilee seat. And has been. So now, we find ourselves in a situation, and then he explains it. Okay? Not only was it logical, but part of why it is disturbing, it seems to be the agreed and understood position in politics. There are things, as you put it well, you don't say in public. He said, no, I am going to say. Because I find this counterintuitive. What are we doing? If the opposition...
And that is the truth and the honesty that Kenyans appreciate.
Yes.
And he made it very clear.
And political leaders hate that thing, my friend. Those who purport to be leaders. See, like what Oparanya is saying, it is true.
Yeah. I mean, guys, I can't be going to places where I'm being asked, where is Ifuna? Why are you doing this?
Sort this thing out.
Yeah. And he said, unfortunately, me where I sit as Oparanya, my hands are tied. I can't do much. Yes. I'm not in the party leadership. Yeah. I'm in the party, fine. I'm a CS, okay. But as far as the inner workings of that party, I'm just a member like Babuino. I'm a member like any other person. The only thing I can do is what I'm doing now. I'm asking the leadership, sort that out. Yeah. Alia na masikio atafanya nini?
Atasikia.
Haya. Gitonga proposed SACCO law solid for financial vibrancy in Kenya. Whenever I read about SACCOs, I nakulanga to stress.
No, lazima kule stress. Ushapoteza pesa kwa SACCO?
Hiyo SACCO, kuna SACCO fulani imeenda na pesa yangu bana. Pia umepoteza pesa?
Yep, I did.
Yeah. So they're saying proposed SACCO law solid for financial vibrancy in Kenya.
Pesa ilienda na ikaenda.
Na ikakunywa maji tu hivi.
Yep.
Hey. Sawa. That is as far as the papers I am concerned are all about. Over to you, CT.
The excitement level ahead of the FIFA World Cup is about the same as a cat watching someone fold the laundry. Hey.
What do you mean?
Well, this is something, the quote from Intelligence, page 9, an article by Carol Musyoka. She writes some really interesting columns.
All right.
World Cup in America. Bro, akuna billboard. You know the pizzazz and the excitement around it?
Yes.
Nada.
President Trump was suggesting that the position that Iran holds should be given to, I think he said, did he say Israel? Which country did he suggest? He said that Iran wanafaa kunyumwa, and I was like, does this guy understand how soccer works?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. But what does work is a clear understanding of what it is that happens when people do not consider who they are electing. That system of theirs.
Countries go and they play football. There's a knockout system.
It is the one sport that unites people, and we actually forget that there are problems.
Iran ilitandika watu ndifike hapo. Iran wasn't given this thing on a silver platter.
No.
Now you have called it. No, Iran played.
And they play some very good soccer. That's why they're... Anyway. My friend, I study the Trump administration very carefully.
Yeah.
And I study the things that they do for one reason. They have a check and balance system within the Senate and within the House of Representatives. And my friend, there is no getting away with this thing. Whether you are a secretary for what, you are brought in and you are asked questions that make... We are either going to see you, we the world will see you as an absolute dunderhead and start wondering who gave you that job and why. But we can see how it is decisions are made without too much forethought as to the consequences. This presidency is important and it must be studied.
Yeah.
Because it tells you the mistakes one should not make. Okay.
Yeah.
People elected this man.
The same man who woke up one day and said that he's going to blow these guys into extinction.
The man is talking about his allies in that same way and bully. You know that bit I don't get. These are your allies, independent nation, and you are busy threatening their sovereignty.
Yes, saying that you will take their lands.
Yes, you're going to take Greenland, and I'm thinking, hey.
That you're going to withdraw funding for NATO.
And you're thinking, hey, guy.
Do you know what would happen if, let's even say that he makes good on his threat and says, I've withdrawn American funding for NATO.
Paul, the EU doesn't have the debt that America has.
What are the group? They might not have the money.
They have already regrouped.
Yes.
And they have money. For your information, the first casualty is Africa and the third world, because funding that used to come there is now going to sort out their own issues. Okay? And they made it clear. Okay, that understanding they had was good for us because people had money they could spend on other issues. Okay, now they're figuring we need to do our own thing so that we're able to defend ourselves. It's not complicated. The bulk of American paper that represents their debt is held by China and Japan. Okay, and some Europe. So this bluster, it's not as though this is a country that has excess money. No. That economy is run on debt. The situation is far worse than ours. The only saving grace is that they have a built-up economy that actually has value addition activities that can actually bring the country out of the situation that they find themselves in. Okay? But beyond that, no.
Anapatia the person who's going to be the next president kibarua.
Bro, the financial system we have on this planet was very useful to them, and it's one of the things that scares them and gives them sleepless nights.
Yeah. So
long as you have a dollar-denominated economy in many parts of the world, it means they can actually go and print as much money as they want. They actually can. Sister dollar. Now, the moment that is challenged and we can use the yuan, or use the yen, or use the rupee, or we decide, the shilling can work. Essentially, why they fight so hard is because that economy will collapse.
Yeah.
Because the dollar will become a piece of paper. It is a piece of paper already.
Because the dollars that are out here are many.
So
if the world just decides, you know what, let's go with the Chinese yuan. It's a wrap.
That economy will collapse. Not, it will near collapse.
Yeah.
You must be wary when somebody sells you an idea, a financial idea, that allows you to live on debt throughout your life. You are in debt. That's why when there's a shake-up in the housing economy, unaona mazee, watu wanapoteza pesa, watu wanaumia, homeless people wanaongezeka. There are things you must study and look and see and understand. And look at other countries that don't have such a system and how their people live. Yes.
Okay.
Delays in closing Safaricom sale gifts Treasury 16B. Delays in the state of the government's 15% stake in Safaricom to South Africa's Vodacom in the wake of a suit are on course to give the Treasury 16.1 billion in dividends. The government, through the Treasury, is to maintain its stake in the telecom operation at 35% or 14 billion shares longer than expected as the court process drags out. So, tumesikia hiyo. Good for you. Treasury backtracks on income tax cuts. You've mentioned it. Cash pay for NCBA owners capped at 7,519. So hata ikiwa wewe ownership yako ni something like around 1 million shares, utalipwa dividends for only 7,000 shares. We usimeze mate sana.
Sawa.
Gen Z investors build 9 billion stake in Stanchart Asset Fund. Investors below the age of 30 now control 9 billion in Standard Chartered Bank's commercial SC Shillingi fund, signaling the rapid rise of younger savers in a sophisticated investment products. Good for you again. Former Scan Group CEO seeks ouster of firm's board. This gentleman is called Bharat Thaka, WPP Scan Group PLC minority shareholders, including former CEO Bharat Thaka, are seeking the ouster of the entire board of the marketing and communication firm, citing a string of poor financial performance reports. Huyo ni kweli kabisa. Sasa, back in the middle of the paper, there is a picture of President Macron and President Ruto. It is written in French, Republic of Kenya. And then it is written in French, République Française, enhancing Kenya-France strategic partnership for shared prosperity in Nairobi. Sawa. Then we go to the Daily Nation. Tax relief right in the middle of the paper, tushasema hiyo. Tanga or Mombasa, Dangote adds fresh twist to oil refineries. Dangote said,
Kenya.
It's Port of Mombasa, deeper port. Iko na benefits kadhaa.
Na yeye amesema he's willing to pour in billions.
Asante pesa mingi. The thing is, Tanga had a special economic zone ahead of Mombasa. Yes. And in that economic SEZ, there was a place for a refinery. Okay? But it's not a story of Tanga. It is the story of where oil was found in Uganda, the Hoima Hills. Okay? It's a story of oil in Tanzania. It's the story of natural gas in Tanzania. Remember, Tanzania borders Mozambique, and Mozambique is one of the biggest producers of natural oil. I mean, gas. This became pertinent when the Russians had a problem. They provided mainland Europe with oil, with gas. Ukraine happened. The Europeans told them, you and your gas, take a gas walk. So
take a hike.
Yep. So Mozambique benefited. Mozambique benefits, Tanzania benefits. That same gas in the Mombasa SEZ. This guy who bought the nation the other day. Okay?
Aziz, I think.
Yes. Taifa Gas. Same guy.
Oh, he's one who owns it, eh?
So do the maths.
All right.
Okay?
I will do
the cheap gas and Tanga are the same story. It's just that it is spoken of ahead of the operationalization, which takes a long time to work.
So we might see that gas going for 300
Actually, with what they have as natural gas being piped, you can actually buy gas at the price that was mentioned. But the infrastructure and what needs to get it done has not happened.
Shida ni ya kwamba hawajaweka mikakati. Ama ndio wanaendelea kuweka mikakati.
Yes. So I am simply saying that when you look at the history of things and the things that happen, okay, and the opportunities that now arise, yes, gas can cost that little. And more importantly, gas can be used to light up the SEZ. Why this is important? The cost of electricity in Kenya is 6 times higher than Egypt. Okay? So when we have that sort of gas lighting up the SEZ, we will be competitive. You know why? Energy costs will be cheap.
And that means our manufacturing will also be cheap.
Yes. You see, cheap. Natural gas is cheap, bro. That's why they use it. That's why they pipe it. No natural, baba. It's not petrochemical, blah, 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 blah. It's not liquefied gas. No. Inakuja vile ilivyo, vile Mungu alivyoiunda. And it is good, it is clean, and it is cheap. So, again, back in the middle of the paper, showing of might. We have a picture of Macron, we have a picture of the president, and President Ruto must understand French, because inaonekana kama anaongea French. Okay? Diplomatic coup is what they say. Nairobi welcomes 50 nations at the global talks, the first to be held in Anglophone Africa. Na Afrika wanakuja, na watafunga barabara.
Na tunakuja mbio.
Ambio sana. Diplomatic coup. Kenya today shined on the world stage, hosting world leaders including heads of state, the UN Secretary General, the business executive for the France Africa Summit, a gathering that highlights the convening power of France President Emmanuel Macron and his host Dr. William Ruto. The forum is expected to reset the continent's ties with the former colonial power and advance new economic as well as political interests. The story of France is not a simple one. We look at it and why France in many ways led the world in ensuring that some of the freedoms that we enjoy and talk about were entrenched. The nonsense that every successive government had with the colonialists is not the history of France, not the total history of France.
Okay.
They had French presidents. The guy is called Charles de Gaulle. I'm going to call Charles de Gaulle.
Charles de Gaulle.
Yes. Now that guy, that's a man who was president, stopped being president. 1958, they brought him back again. But he is a man who understood the need for independence in Africa and is the one who pushed for it. Story for what?
Another day.
Right. Trouble with Ugandan national carrier. Whoa. Rolls-Royce engines for the A330 Neos and the expensive Total care maintenance package as trailing the airline amid other storms. Yani Kenya Airways yao iko na shida kama Kenya Airways yetu. Lakini yao ni tofauti. How Trump is buying Chekedi's third term bid. Okay. Lamu port handles first cargo going to Burundi. Okay. Bas.
All right. Wacha nisalimie wawili watatu kabla tuingie katika taarifa yetu ya leo inayoletwa na Widi Maganga. Lydia Cherono has said, my two favorites. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Abdi Kadir, ule jamaa wetu wa kutoka kule Garissa, amesema good morning Radio Generations team. I'm Abdi Kadir from Garissa. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Excited for today's show. Let's start the week strong with uplifting energy and good conversations. Jimmy Kwan, good morning CT and movie. Douglas Kibogong, morning CT. Empress Talia, good morning Kings and Queens. Kitengela iko locked in. Job Kola amesema salamu hamjambo nyote. Dawa ya bara letu la Afrika kujisimamia kamili ni gani? Kama hata sisi wenyewe kwa wenyewe si hasa inatuzidi kwa karibu kila jambo. Si hasa inatuzidi kwa karibu kila jambo. Tutajigundua lini? Swali zuri Job Kola. Danson Kenya amesema good morning CTN Mbuvi. Danson Kenya tena akasema in 2027 selling some politicians will be like selling pork to Saudia. Guy, that's impossible, man. Douglas Kibogong amesema, Douglas ameandika kitu hapa. Amesema at Edna. Now this one is addressing the producer. Will you mind inviting PS Education to share with us differences between operations and tuition account? Because I watched some ignorance in mainstream media asking 5 bob. Very ignorant. Okay, yes, Douglas. We actually said it here. I think it was last week. We said we honestly do not understand how this money is divided. But yeah. My take 2.2 amesema, don't take what Oparanya says about Sifuna seriously. He's one of those who've been blowing hot and cold in ODM ever since formation of Broad-Based. At one time, he even said they will form their own party. David Mangera anasema, good morning RG. Mbuvi, ebu rudia hiyo. Nini nimesema nirudie? Aya. Aldrin amesema good evening my people. Well, good evening to you too. And then Africans in diaspora amesema hello. Well, pia sisi tunakuambia hello. Kwa sasa kama nilivyowaambia hapo awali, tuingie katika taarifa yetu. Then when we come back in the second hour, the conversation continues.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. The Africa Forward Summit is bringing together around 3,000 people to strengthen ties between Africa and its international partners. The focus is on creating jobs, building industries, and adding value locally instead of just exporting raw materials. The 2-day summit, hosted by President William Ruto and French President Emmanuel Macron, comes as African countries look for ways to support young people with jobs and reduce reliance on commodity exports.
We have the nuclear program that allows us to propose access to a low price of electricity with a proper volume, so probably better than many other European countries.
It's an African France event, and we, out of the 800 B2B and B2G meetings that we are organizing for the French companies that are coming, and the Kenyan companies that are here, they are mostly with African countries.
Calls for deeper reforms in governance, economic systems, and democratic accountability are dominating discussions in Nairobi as civil society organizations from across Africa converge ahead of the Africa Forward Summit. The groups met at the Social Innovation Pavilion Summit, held just before the official opening of the main summit, where they focused on issues affecting African societies, including democracy, human rights protection, and regional stability. Participants said they had compiled 60 priority proposals after extensive consultations, which has been captured in a white paper set to be submitted to the African heads of state attending the summit. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says banditry and insecurity are still a big problem in many parts of the country. He says the government is stepping up long-term security and development efforts to tackle the issue. His comments come as police continue investigating Saturday's deadly attack in Mandera County, where 6 people were killed and several others injured. Authorities say they now have important leads as operations to catch the attackers continue.
Tumeanzisha uchunguzi na unaendelea, na tayari tumepata fununu kuhusiana na hayo shambulizi, na hivi karibuni hao ambao wamefanya kitendo hiki cha uhaini wataweza kupatikana.
Bunduki yenye ziko katika dunia hiyo ni 3,000 na hizo bunduki zote inatokana na kuwa na porous borders, kuwa na majirani kama Somalia, kuwa huko Ethiopia, sehemu ambayo hawana serikali ambayo inachunga mambo ya bunduki.
Kisumu Woman Representative Ruth Odinga has accused the Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi of attacking Odinga family legacy. She says Mbadi unfairly singled out her family while talking about the future of the Orange Democratic Movement and party divisions. Mbadi, however, says Ruth misunderstood his comments, which he says was meant for internal party discussion.
Northeastern have been supporting ODM. We have 2 governors today from Northeastern province in ODM out of 3. This is a national party. ODM does not belong to the Luo community. It does not belong to one community. In fact, ODM does not belong to Siaya, where we have senator trying to fight with the governor trying to fight the Senate. It does not belong to a family. You know, we have a party where someone, because she's sister of a party leader, she thinks she can also order us around. You cannot.
U.S. President Donald Trump has called Iran's response to U.S. peace proposals totally unacceptable. Iran, through Pakistan acting as a mediator, asked for an immediate end to the war, a stop to the U.S. naval blockade, and guarantees against future attacks. A ceasefire meant to allow peace talks, which started after the U.S. and Israel launched the war in February, was mostly held, though there have been a few clashes. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast, curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast, your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
A very good morning to you and welcome back to Radio Generation. The time right now is 7 minutes past 7 o'clock. MC Tonje, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for checking in. David Magena amesema tumeweka mikakati. Alikuwa nataka nirudie party ya tumeweka mikakati na tumepanga ya kwamba in 6 months kila kitu itakuwa sawa sawa. Ama namna gani City?
Bro, some of these things, hiyo mikakati yachukua muda.
Ni kweli,
lakini kama shaundwa, mambo haya ambayo tunazungumzia sio ngumu vile.
Ni kweli.
Yes,
nakubaliana wewe.
Iwe ni bei ya gas ya kupika,
right,
iwe ni kujenga viwanda vya mafuta ambayo yaitwa oil refinery,
yes,
yawezekana, lakini zote zinachukua muda.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Shida iliyoko ni kwamba wajua mara nyingi mambo kama haya yanaelezwa ni kama yatatendeka kesho. Sasa matarajio pia inakuwa ya kesho. Na yasipokuwa
people need to understand that these things take time, right?
They actually do, and a time schedule needs to be put. Unajua hii itachukua miaka 3.
But you see the thing is whenever politicians stand on a podium, they do not tell us that these things will take time. They don't ask us to be patient. They make it sound like you said, they make it sound like it's something that they will be delivered after they are done speaking. So when someone says hapa barabara nitawajengea kutoka town all the way mpaka Ngong, kuna mtu anasema kuisha kesho tunataka kuona lori zimekuja hapa, zimeanza kuchimba, mchanga imemwagwa, bitumen imewekwa, we are going to have a road by Sunday.
There is something about a crowd or a choir that is singing. If you go for some small function, all right?
Yes.
I cannot blame politicians. You can make promises. A friend of mine who had helped a young man who had worked for him get a job, a very good job. So we call it his homecoming kwao. So I accompanied my friend.
Yes.
And we were going to spend the night.
Right.
Simple village, kila kitu, but a choir came to sing for us. And the choir, even local primary school, even mentioned me by name. Mwalimu Chalisi. So they also mentioned my friend. You know, I promised to buy everybody shoes.
And did you?
Yes.
Okay.
But in installments.
Good for you.
Kwa mwalimu mazio mshahara bwana ilikuwa hairuhusu, lakini pole pole.
You uli scratch mali mkono unafika.
Bro, so I understand what people, when you're in front of people, unaongea. Chief, you can say, when you stop here, what did I say? But
Ushasema.
Yes.
So in studio this particular hour, we want to talk about how Kenya will benefit from the Africa Forward Summit. And with us in the studio is the head of pedagogy at Alliance Française in Nairobi. That is Obilo Ngongo. Bonjour.
Bonjour monsieur. Comment ça va?
Karibu niendelee kuongea di career life. Beyond bonjour.
Umeulizwa comment ça va?
Ça va bien, merci.
Super.
Yeah. So zaidi hapo I cannot say anything cover maana.
Kuelewa tunakuhurumia.
Because nikianza kuongea Kifaransa kikamba yangu inakuja
na mbio
inakuja to the very forefront of my conversation. But Abilo, karibu tena sana to Radio Generation.
Asante, merci.
Maybe just explain to us, because I've been to Alliance so many times. At one point when I was in primary, I even studied French for a few weeks. I can't even remember how long it was, but it wasn't long. It was one of those, during the holidays, unaambiwa ndio usikae hapo usumbane na wasichana and ufanye Kifaransa. But maybe just give us an overview of what Alliance is all about.
Okay. So in a nutshell, Alliance Française is a space where people of different cultures come and meet and talk about everything. It's a space where we encourage people from different walks of life to just be in a space where you're relaxed, a space that is free, and where you can meet new people, learn new cultures, learn new things. And having that space, we use it in a way that we can, like I'm saying, in a relaxed manner, then we can offer activities where people can meet and exchange. So first of all, Alliance Française is a cultural center. So we have a lot of cultural activities, whether it's concerts, exhibitions, art exhibitions, theater plays, and so on and so forth. I think it's the most known cultural center in Nairobi.
It's you, and then there's Goethe Institute, the one for the Germans. And you're right, because I've been there, I've watched several plays there. I have personally staged a play there. I've also, we premiered the first days, the first seasons of the XYZ show. I don't know if you're aware.
Yes.
We used to do the premieres at Alliance.
At Alliance Française.
Yes. So I have experienced Alliance in very many ways.
And a lot of great artists and great acts have been born at Alliance Française. The very first shoot of Churchill live was done at Alliance Française. Alliance Française is the birthplace of groups like Sauti Sol and Elani. Those are kids who used to sit in the corridors, actually in the parking lot, and they had a group on Facebook called Alliance Française Parking Lot Musicians. So you would sit there and play your guitar, and somebody else starts singing, and all of a sudden you formed a group, and people are coming out of there with groups. So there are so many groups, and apart from just being a space where people are meeting, Alliance Française actually sponsors those artists. So there are many groups. If you remember UNASI, for example, they have voted BBC next big thing. Life happened, everybody in their own directions. Some took music, some are doing amazing things. I know Eric Odhiambo, for example, is running a center in Kariobangi, where he brings the kids from Kariobangi together during weekends, just teach them skills. Davis Ngala is now in France. He's a producer.
Wow.
We have Dennis Inyani, who's in Europe also singing. So everybody went their own route. But Alliance Française is that one space where you knew, for those of us, you grew up in the 90s or 2000s, you knew that if I'm an artist, I have to be at Alliance Française.
Alliance Française, also when I was, again, still growing up as a teenager, I used to go there on when I'm in town and I have nowhere else to go. I used to come and chill there, wait for chicks. And I would say, bonjour.
That's the other good thing. Alliance Française is blessed with beautiful people.
You gotta come up now. Get to know my day, malafu.
It's one of those places where it's ritualistic. You need to go through Alliance Française after high school, for example.
Yes.
You need, as you come from high school, I tell kids, you're coming from high school, don't stress yourself. Right now, you just need to acquire skills that will help you in the future. So do driving, do computer, do a foreign language, do French. But also, it offers them a space where they can come and chill and meet people from elsewhere. So like I was saying, Alliance Française, first of all, is a cultural center where people come to experience profit local organization. All the money that Alliance makes at the end of the year is used to sponsor local artistic activities. And not only in Nairobi, it has been done all over the country. So if you go to Dunga Hill Resort
in Kisumu.
Yes, Dunga Hill Resort is the most vibrant cultural center in Kisumu right now.
Yes.
And all the music system has been sponsored by a project with Alliance Française.
Wow.
The Players Theatre in Nakuru, the same thing. If you go to Mama Grace Onyango Cultural Center in Kisumu, the building was renovated by AFD, Agence France de Développement, but also houses Alliance Française. And lately we have contributed a studio, a recording studio to the center. So you go to Mombasa, Swahili Port, so it's various spaces. And Alliance Française is not just what we are seeing in Nairobi.
Yes.
Alliance Française is a whole network. There are about 830 of them in the world, and their vocation is the same, is to be spaces where people can come and have social and cultural dialogues in a free manner. They are all apolitical and secular. So we don't discuss religion, we don't discuss politics. It's a space where you can come and express your ideas without necessarily being judged. So we have the cultural side.
All right.
But also to be able to encourage people to interact from different cultures, then we are also there to facilitate language.
All right.
And the one language that we facilitate the most, the one we are known for, is the French language. But what people don't know is that also for foreigners coming into the country, we do offer English and Kiswahili classes. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we do. On request, of course.
All right.
And then we are also allowed to offer any other local language. So if you go to Alliance Kisumu today and you say you want to learn the Luo, they will look for a teacher and offer you the Luo. The Alliance in Eldoret, they will teach you Kalenjin and whatever the language you want from that area. If you go to Mombasa, they are big on Kiswahili classes. So whatever, if you go to Kampala, it's the same thing. Then they're teaching their local languages.
Luganda or Buganda.
Yes. So whichever country you go to, you meet in Alliance Française, they will be offering French, of course.
And a local language.
And local languages.
All right.
Not just one.
Yeah.
You know what is interesting? This is peculiar interesting. Not interesting, peculiar, haha. In the previous century, one of the things that Paris was known for, it was the bastion where people who sought artistic expression and freedom came to. If you were a black person in America and you had difficulties, you went to Paris. If you are from Latin America and you had problems, you came to Paris. If you're in the Asian subcontinent, everybody came to Paris because that was the place where there was, if I may use the term, maximum expression of freedom that was allowed. And it was a bastion. And there are very many people known worldwide who actually grew their trade and became known. Whether you're a writer, you are a singer, that is where people came. The thing I find even more fascinating, the people who actually started Alliance, you're talking about 143 years ago.
Yes. 100 and what?
43.
Okay.
You've heard of a guy called Louis Pasteur?
Yes, I have.
Have you heard of a guy called Jules Verne?
No.
I'm not trying to imitate. He's a writer, brother. Who saw me?
But I haven't.
Okay,
you know what? I have.
That's what I wanted you to say. Then there's a guy called Ferdinand de Lesseps. When you talk about the Suez Canal, in Egypt.
Suez Canal?
Suez Canal,
Yes.
You know, my mind went to the Americas.
It's okay.
The Suez Canal.
Yeah.
His name comes up. Okay. And when you talk about Renan Armand, these are Frenchmen who are very well known.
Yes.
And each in a separate field. So I often wonder, what got these guys together to want to form this cultural phenomenon, which is in 131 countries.
Yes.
And is growing.
It's a good question, and I like it, because for a very long time and up until now, I always thought Alliance is an extension of the French embassy, and I thought the Kenyan one is the only one. Yes, but now you tell me that you're in all these countries, and it is not necessarily an extension of the French embassy, but now I get even to learn of its history and the folks who came up and gave us Alliance Française as we know it.
This expression, you must know it. It's French. Au contraire.
French au contraire.
Au contraire. Au contraire, it has links with French embassies around the world because of the link we have with France. As it is explaining very nicely, it was born of scientists, writers, philosophers who were traveling the world.
Ambassadors,
and everywhere they went, people were interested to know about Paris. And you can imagine what Paris represented back then. It was that's the mention of Paris and France.
Yeah.
It was very romantic in people's heads. City of lights.
People needed to go to Paris.
You had to go to Paris at some point.
People still want to go to Paris.
Actually, the Tour Eiffel is the most visited monument in the entire world. Yeah, people, once in a lifetime, you want to have gone to Eiffel.
Yeah,
so it's a very imposing structure. The first time I went there, I was very confused. I was
why?
Like, this is what people travel to come.
Yeah,
because it's very romantic in your head. When you get there, of course, it looks a bit different.
Yes.
Yeah, but I was like, it's very imposing and it's very big, but it's a very beautiful place to be at. And being in France, France is even today a country that celebrates culture. You could go and visit France. You don't have accommodation, and you go to an app called Couchsurfing, and you go to somebody's house. They accept you to go, and all you need to give them in return is stories from your country. A piece, leave them with a piece of your culture.
These are random people you just walk into.
Of course, you have to be in the app first of all.
Yeah, of course,
just to make sure it's security-wise. But someone is willing to get paid with stories from your country. They give you a place to sleep, share a piece of your culture.
Yeah.
And when we travel, and that is now the beauty of the relationship that comes out of Alliance Française being in several countries, is that apart from the fact that we're receiving pieces of culture from France, we're also exporting a lot of our culture. I've talked about Denis Inyane from UNASI, who's now in France.
Yes.
People like Akinalari Asego now moved to France completely. These are people who are carrying pieces of our culture. There are also people who benefited from having some contact with the French culture before now they wanted to go. And wherever they're going, they're exporting pieces of our culture.
Yeah.
You know what is interesting, Paul?
Yes.
Is if you look at the history of France and you focus your attention on Paris, I even know a place called the Champs-Élysées. I've never been to France, but I know. And it's important to me. It's mentioned in the same breath as the Tour Eiffel. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, when I say melting pot, I am talking about people from right across the globe wanting to go to this place and ending up there. There are those who say that the pool was seen as the place where modern day democracy was actually born. It is seen that way. Okay? But of even greater significance in my mind, if I think of it, is I look at the French understanding of colonialism and what it is that was presented to the African countries at independence. Do you want independence on your own, or do you want independence as part of France? there is no colonial power that offered the countries that colonized to be part of their country. Now, this is a discussion that I'm having because I've removed politics from it. When you bring politics into it, it becomes a completely different matter. The thinking behind it. There are very few countries who have had a president who stayed, left, and was called back. That guy I mentioned before, with whom we share a name.
Yes.
That one.
Charles de Gaulle.
Yes, exactly. Okay? If you look at the things he did and the thinking he had, that man was way ahead of his time. Way ahead of his time. From the time of the Second World War, how he formed the Republic, akatoka, mambo ikawa shida na Algeria, akarudishwa tena. What am I saying? You need to go into the details of understanding the mentality and the mindset that was with the leadership of France then, and then you need to compare it with today, because it's a different reality that is now being looked at. And what it is that was purpose and what they thought might work, and what eventually came about as a result of whatever it is that they did. Now, that the French Cultural Center exists, again poses now a third question in my mind. How did the French get this idea of alliance so right? Because it is powerful, and it sells France in the best light possible. But even as I ask the question, what comes to my mind, there's no politics involved.
Yeah.
If there's politics involved, we'd be talking about a completely different thing. Yes. Because think of any country that you have in the world.
Yes.
The British were with us for a long time, and they had the British Council. But they have never been able to achieve what the French did. The James the Goethe Institute have never achieved what they've done. The Italians have never done that. The other colonizing nations like the Netherlands, I don't even think they tried. The Spaniards, Portuguese.
Ish.
Yes, it's best I say what I want to say with my hand.
But as you mentioned them, I am happy that Alliance Française has had the success it's had in Kenya, and especially because of the values you're talking about, and without going into politics, because the work I cannot be in politics, but there's that spirit of, as you're saying, become part of us. And that is one thing that the French have a lot.
Yeah.
Is that anything you're participating in, you're part of us. It's not that like you're a visitor. So if you're coming to Alliance Française, the Kenyans are very much part of it. And just to come back to what you're saying,
yes,
an Alliance Française is a local initiative. It's not done by the French. So for example, in Kisumu right now, they just got their charter recently. In Kisumu, that was an effort by the governor, Peter Nyang'-Nyong'o, who's a huge supporter of culture. And when he was an MP, he used to spend a lot of his time at Alliance Française, watching each and every play that would be staged there. And when he heard that the teachers of French and the artists in Kisumu were crying because Alliance was closed a long time ago, he said, "What do you want? What do you need?" And called Ambassador Suke, who's an interesting fella. I hope you heard him yesterday speaking fully in Kiswahili.
Yes, I have. I've actually met him one-on-one.
Yeah,
he's a great guy.
Yeah, and his teacher is a funny person. He's teaching him Sheng also, so sometimes he chucks sentences. Anyway, so they met in Kisumu, and they were like, "What do we do for the community that is here?" And under the stewardship of Mr. Peter Wino, who's the principal Maseno School, and some lecturers from Maseno University, and some artists in Kisumu, they decided to come together and form a trust to be able to bring forward Alliance Française. And it's a volunteer basis. So one gentleman, Jagpal, I'm talking about the owner of Dunga Hill Resort, he also got into it and was like, we need culture in Kisumu, so what do we do? So they came together, and the governor decided to give them a place. It's open, it's closed, it is their own initiative, and that is the same thing. The one in Mombasa has been there for 70 years. The one in Eldoret has been there since 2002, and it was also a personal initiative, actually a one man initiative at the time. So right now there are other people coming up. For example, there's a lot of interest coming from Iten with the athletes. There's a very nice program that was done there by the French embassy with the help of Alliance Française also, to train coaches, to give professional training to coaches of athleticism, because a lot of times we have retired athletes becoming coaches.
Yes.
Not necessarily because they were technically trained to coach, but because of the experience that they have.
Yes.
But right now there's a program by the French embassy and the French government to take these coaches to France for professional training.
Okay.
And this was born out of the friendship I'm talking about, the exchange in culture. Because the time we had Olympics in France, there's a city that hosted Kenyans. And the relationship they had with Kenyan athletes was so beautiful. They got stuck on the Kenyans. They hosted many people, but they got stuck on the Kenyans. And this city is called Miramas.
Okay.
And at the end of it, they're like, why don't we develop this friendship further?
Yeah.
And they agreed. And last year, we had the mayor of Miramas and the mayors of the towns around Miramas coming to Iten. And the governor of Elgeyo Marakwet hosted us there.
Yes.
And they now discussed what do we do together as friends. And that is where this idea of training the coaches came in. The idea of opening a sports hospital facility came in. And also a sports stadium, which are being done in Elgeyo Marakwet as we speak.
Right.
And the coaches went to France last year. They now speak good French. They've
Oh,
come
really?
back. Yeah.
How long does it take to speak good French, like you're calling it?
You need about 600 hours of training.
Okay.
So for them, they had the benefit. They did about 120 hours, then traveled to France immediately after. So they had a lot of practice while they were there.
Right.
And these coaches we're talking about are primary school teachers, secondary school teachers, and also professional coaches. So it's having quite an influence generally around the 10 area.
Okay.
Or Elgeyo Marakwet County.
That is very good. Perhaps when we get the time, I can go to, you call that place what?
Miramas.
That is the place I want to go.
Miramas. And
yeah.
And like I'm saying, it's that friendship and that exchange of culture is very important. Learning a language does not come without learning someone's culture. In 2024, we were called suddenly and told, we have 600 police officers going to Haiti.
Yes.
They don't speak French. What can you do about it?
Yeah.
And it took us, I think, only 3 weeks to come up with a full program. Which doesn't exist, a curriculum on training police officers.
Yes.
To go for a peacekeeping or peace support mission. And the next problem we are facing is that people speak French there, but they also speak another form, what we call the pidgin of French, which is Creole. And Creole is different from every island you go to, the different islands. Starting from right here in the Indian Ocean, we have Reunion Islands, we have Comoros, we have Seychelles. You have some form of Creole that is spoken in all those islands. So we had to ship in trainers of Creole, of Haitian Creole, not just any Creole. So it was not easy finding teachers of that language. Some of them came from Senegal, Cameroon, and they were able to share a lot about their culture. Not necessarily just the language.
Yes.
Is the bit of the culture. You're learning Creole. You will not speak it fluently, but once you've learned the culture, you know why they say things this way or that way. And our officers did a wonderful job.
They learned that language.
They learned the language. They learned French and they learned Creole at the same time.
Oui?
Yeah. It wasn't easy. We were in Embakasi for 6 weeks. It was intense. And they went there. From the experience they had, they were loved. Despite the politics that is coming out, there must be something negative after peacekeeping mission. Yeah, but as they were coming out, we could see photos of people trying to block them not to leave the city of Port-au-Prince because they had actually stabilized the country.
Sorry, Port-au-Prince is called what in French?
Port-au-Prince.
Port-au-Prince. you need like 1,200 hours for this language.
No, what I was asking, of course, this is in humor.
Yeah.
While you're training these wonderful
policemen,
security personnel, did they ask for you to translate for them some of the language they use when they're speaking to Kenyans, like where kuja hapa?
But actually, when I'm talking about, it's interesting because when I'm talking about tailor-made, it means that's exactly what you're going to teach them.
Yes.
Because what is the police going to do in Haiti? They're not going to restaurants. They're going to tell people, come here, stop, lie down. So that's why we had to come up with a different curriculum, and including the guys in Iten. We were not going to teach them how to bake croissant. We were going to teach them
croissant. Inaitwa croissant.
Croissant.
Okay.
That very it's a delicious bread.
Oui, super.
I can't help it. This is the only time I can do it.
I know. Have fun.
Because beyond this, I can't speak French to anyone. Another French accent.
Our students really laugh because when I go to class, I tell them the first thing you need to do is to stop being serious, just smile and learn French in a very relaxed atmosphere. So as much fun as you want to have with it, because language is learned a lot through. If you want to learn a language, the best place to start is funny words and bad words. Because when you learn bad words, you have purpose to use the bad words.
When City was asking, did you teach them how to, these cops now, the policemen, did you teach them how to say some of the things that they tell us here in Karigando? Tembeni kama unarudi nyuma. Lakini unakuja mbele.
Ama simama na kulala chini.
Igeti kama umesimama.
Bado unacheka na mimi. Hii meno yote unanionyesha tunapeleka wapi? But yeah, I mean, and it's interesting. So you did this thing that you did for them. How long did it take you to train them, the policemen?
We were doing them in 6 weeks. They were coming in 3 different batches.
Yeah.
We did it in 6 weeks. It wasn't easy. First of all, coming up with that curriculum, as you're saying, specifically words that are going to use in our peace support operation. And we appreciate, first of all, that we haven't had any police peacekeeping missions.
Yeah.
So we didn't even have material or any experience to go by. So we engaged a very nice French lady. She's called Gwen. Gwen is married in Kenya, so she's Gwen Mwai. Elekikuyu. Gwen Elekikuyu. So we engaged Gwen, and Gwen helped us to come up with a curriculum that really took into account what exactly they were going to do. And it was so beautiful that this curriculum was now adopted for all the countries that were contributing forces. There were 9 countries contributing forces to this peacekeeping mission. And it's the same curriculum they're using today, even after the expiry of that mandate of those forces. We have a new force going in, an anti-gang force, spearheaded by Chad, the government of police from Chad. And even them, they're using the same curriculum that we came up with here. And that we kept improving from the experience that we're having with the policemen. And like I was saying, I'm pulling parallels with what we did in Iten. In Iten, we had to come up with a curriculum for sports.
Yes.
Because we're talking about people who are just going to do mainly sports. Of course, you have the shopping bit, but mostly it's about what we call a stadium, what we call an athlete, what we call, how do you give instructions. And we have to adapt. Right now, we are training young doctors who want to go into Francophone countries, for example. Not giving them medical training.
Yeah, I mean,
language training.
I know.
Language training.
Yes.
That again, we have to custom make it so that it is language that they can use in hospitals. And there's this interesting club at University of Nairobi. It's existed for a long time. It's called l'Association Francophone des Étudiants de Médecine, which is the Francophone Association of Medicine Students or medical students. And it's been there since, I think, late 90s.
Yes.
And those are students who love French. And the benefits they've had is, there's a time I remember some of them got internships in West Africa. I forget which country. And we were laughing, saying, hey, you guys, you've made it. While you're going to treat Ebola on the other side, guys are here treating malaria.
So imagine that.
In terms of international experience, and that is the beauty of having a foreign language, is that it opens doors for you, and you get a lot of international experience, which is far more than the experience you would have gotten if you're just, locally here and maybe restrained a bit by your lack of knowledge of international languages.
Okay, that body at the university, what's it called again in French?
AFREM. Association francophone des étudiants de médecine.
Siti ataka tu kusikia Kifaransa.
I know. Somebody said you could be insulted in French and you'll be happy.
Yeah.
You're smiling, all of yours.
All right, let me give you a fun fact. You've been to a Rumba night. And guys are there dancing and closing their eyes. But if you ask them what that song is saying, they don't know. You could be closing your eyes to a song singing about agriculture.
It's true.
And pesticides.
It's true. But the moment they say j'entends siffler bon,
I'll give you one. I used to love this song as a kid.
Yeah.
Fabrice magasin mon aîné, Ekende sango partout.
Right.
Bon abacost.
Hey!
Yeah.
Unapenda nyimbo?
I love it.
Well, do you know you come from? Yes.
Now,
what on earth are they saying?
Once I knew French, and I started thinking, what is this song about? Let me listen properly. So first of all, the abacost. When I learned what the abacost was, it's that suit that ends here.
Counter suit.
That is the abacost, yes, some sort of counter suit. So that is the abacost. So it's not counter, it's like a suit like this one.
Oh,
but
it makes
you
you
see it
elbow.
ends here. The counter one has pockets like a tour guide. Yeah. Now this one, sorry. This one is just a suit, but which ends around here.
Yes.
And then I listened to the entire song. The entire song is a dedication to a shop where you buy clothes. It's actually a big advert for a song called Fabrice. Fabrice Magasin Munene, a big shop where you go. And all you're seeing about is the benefits of going to that shop and coming out looking nicely. But go to a rumba night, guys are closing their eyes and holding on to people of opposite gender and falling in love to the advert of a shop. So you need to at least be exposed to some of these languages to know what you're singing, what you're dancing to. And it's beautiful when now you know the language.
It's true.
You enjoy the song much more.
It's true.
Those songs seems to have been topical, especially the one sung by a gentleman called Franco Luambo Luanzo Makiadi. They're topical. He sang about HIV. He sang about the Volkswagen. He sang about things which
he was passionate about.
Yes.
Well, yes. And then he also sang songs about President Mobutu. And Mobutu was, others sang about him and didn't say very nice things about Mobutu. Some of those songs were banned, but yes, they sang topical issues. But lyrics, the music itself, you actually believed you understood what they were saying, and even if you didn't understand, it didn't matter.
Yeah,
it sounds nice.
Let me say it today. It still doesn't matter. I have no idea what they're saying.
But that was my point. Is that the language itself is beautiful.
It is.
There's a meme we were looking at, somebody robbing a bank. Give me all your money, and everyone would like call the police. Like, donnez-moi votre argent, s'il vous plaît.
You see?
And they're like, wow, French, so nice to call our money.
Shika. Yeah. Now that France is in Kenya for this weekend, we have this cooperation going on. Of course, we understand a lot of conversations will take place. Kenya and France have signed this 150 billion deal to ensure that some of these things will be achieved going forward. And one thing I was asking myself is, like sometimes there are things that happen and you're not even sure whether you're dreaming, because it sounds very good. It's almost too good to be true. What do you think about this particular cooperation between France and Kenya for Africa?
Without going into politics,
yes, we'll bring a politician for that.
The politician will come for
and
that.
And we'll bring the political person in the embassy to come and discuss that.
To come and discuss that. Now, I'm seeing very many benefits. First of all, for us, the first benefit is a benefit for the entire continent, I would say, because I think we are moving from a position where this conversation would be about aid and what can you do for us, and we are moving towards a position of what can we do together. How can we benefit from each other's positions. We have geopolitics is changing today. What the relationships we had with the West are not the same as what we're having right now. We are having moments where Europe needs Africa in a different way. And I think that is where our conversation is going as a country. It's how can we benefit from each other. Being in the cultural space, that is exactly what we stand for, is what can we exchange. So I think with this particular summit coming up, Kenya has benefited, first of all, as being the first Anglophone country to have this conversation happening in its own country. And secondly, by bringing in all these heads of state, we stand to benefit not just from France, but also from other agreements that we will make with the other countries. I know, for example, we heard yesterday that we'll now open an embassy in Cote d'Ivoire.
Wow. And
for those who've traveled to West Africa, it can be tricky sometimes getting into those countries in terms of the structures that are there and agreements that are there with Kenya. So if we can form friendships with these other countries that are coming also, it's a benefit. So first of all, you have the benefit of this conference happening in Kenya. It's big, and I think it's the biggest event we've had since our president came to power, that we are having about, I think, between 20 to 30 heads of state coming in for these 2 days. Secondly, we are engaging a partner who has not traditionally been the biggest partner, I would say, for Kenya. We've had UK, we've had US, we've had Germany, we've had China,
even Italy.
But France, they are here. You know, you don't see them, but you see them.
How would you say that in French? Ni kama wako na kini hawako.
On ne sait pas s'ils sont là ou pas. On ne dirait pas qu'ils sont là. Pourtant, ils sont là because you can see them in Moi's government.
Yes.
All government vehicles were Peugeot.
Yes, they were actually. They were.
Yeah.
The 504s. Hata gari za CID wakati huu wana flying squad.
Yes. I owned 504 and a 505 myself.
And the vehicles that used to go to your village were Pesi.
Well, it started with the RVP, Rift Valley Peugeot. Then there was Mombasa Peugeot services. Then Wepesi came later.
Okay.
But those were beautiful, durable cars. When it rained, the doors were tricky. The doors somehow didn't open easily when it rained. I don't know what it is, but the car itself.
Yeah.
Man, I've never come across something more durable than that.
Okay. You have confused city. You've gone to cars.
I have to go to some.
Are those cars?
I have to speak about something I know. Yes. Cars which you drive and you hand over.
Yes.
You don't even want to sell. You hand over because you realize you're not going to get the price that and you still see those vehicles on the road, Chief,
even today.
Yes.
The 504 is still very much on the road. So I was talking about the French that we were seeing and not seeing at the same time, because in the 90s we had a lot of Peugeot around.
Yes.
In the 90s you were using one cement. There was only one cement. There was Bamburi. And Bamburi Cement is a subsidiary of Lafarge. So for a long time that was
even see their trucks around here.
Yes, that was the cement we were using in the entire country, and that was France investing in Kenya. Back then we had Total.
May I interject, Monsieur, s'il vous plaît? When you talk about the company Lafarge, it wasn't. You need to talk about the extent of the involvement in that industry on the continent, because I know that because people I knew, because I grew up in Mombasa, worked in that company. Here somebody has gone to Uganda, and they've gone to West Africa. And first I was wondering, so Bamburi, that was before I knew that Bamburi was a subsidiary.
Yes.
So that involvement and the built-up industry that we knew of then, that contribution was profound because there was no competition then.
Yeah, exactly. And we had this French influence, which we did not see directly because we didn't talk about it. Now, as the world is changing, in terms of economic scales also we are changing. In terms of how we are doing business, we are changing. And right now, we have, I think, the biggest foray of French companies coming into Kenya. Before even this conference, on this summit coming to Kenya, we already have about 140 French companies that are in the country. You've been using beauty products from L'Oreal, for example.
Yes.
We've been shopping right now at Carrefour, not Carrefour.
Tunaitaka Carrefour bro. Hiyo Carrefour ni yenu. Sisi tutaita Carrefour.
Tunadhie Carrefour.
I know people who also call it Carrefour, but no one told us how to call it. I mean, what to call it. The company just came and we just saw it's Carrefour and we said Carrefour.
I think it's not important what we call it. It's important what it has offered to us, because it has come to a space. I think there's a space that we were missing something. We were missing some international feel. I'll be a bit biased. I'll talk about the way you used to feel when you go into some big Nakumat and you feel a difference. And you were yearning for that feeling. And today I'm happy that even as you come from here, you can now go to Carrefour and ask for croissant and baguette. You know baguette?
I know the baguette.
The bread that is also a weapon.
Yeah.
Yes. That one. So you can go and ask for baguette, and they have this crossover. For me, it's very cultural.
Yes.
It's the one place I can find pâté. And pâté, you have the French pâte, the paste made of meat, that you can apply on bread. And you have a lot of products coming from France, but they're also exporting a lot of products coming from Kenya. Because you'll find that Carrefour in their supermarkets have packaged Kenyan coffee, Kenyan tea, and this is also going to the other side. So there's
It's
a
going
lot
to
of
France.
exchange. But let me come back to the relationship we are currently having
Yes.
with France in terms of the investment that is coming in. And France right now is ranked the fourth in terms of direct foreign investments that are coming into the country. And more is going to come, of course, after this summit. So we're going to see a lot more of French companies coming in. There's so much investment from French companies that the French companies here had to form a chamber of commerce for themselves. So we do have a French Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Kenya. Yeah, just to be able to bring these people around one table so they can also network with Kenyan companies.
You'll introduce us to this French Chamber of Commerce.
I need to introduce you to
Please do.
Domitil. They have quite an array. They're the ones who bring together all these companies that we are seeing.
We want to dissect and understand the relationship that we have with France, and just like you've said, it's been intermittent. Iko kidogo haiko, lakini iko venye tu haiko, lakini wewe jua iko.
So actually, long before we even had the county government,
yes,
I know because I worked in the western part of the country, the French had sponsored a combination of projects. It was like an urban renewable project that dealt with water, the Lake Basin Water Authority. It dealt with roads, which probably wasn't focused on roads that were probably in the suburbs. This was Kisumu. They came up with projects to actually manage waste, and it was a long-term project and a partnership. In those days, Kisumu had a mayor. The mayor of Kisumu at that time was somebody called Sam Okello.
Sam Okello, a very good friend of ours.
Yes.
And I remember the sewerage system. He was a very good mobilizer.
Yes.
And he seriously mobilized the French government. I remember the sewerage system being redone around 2010, thanks to Sam Okello and the relationship there.
Yes, the whole sanitation process was put in motion by the French. So, if you are talking about the relationship that one sees, I can speak of one that I saw and understood in terms of what it is that they were trying to do and what they did. You see, one of the things about the coexistence of partnerships with these countries, there are countries who are very loud about the things they do. So even if it's a little, it sounds big because it is loud. Then there are countries that don't talk much about them. Like, you don't hear the French talking much about what they do. Very many water projects in the country can be attributed to the French. In the region, can be attributed to the French. I compare them with the Japanese. You don't hear them talking about what they do. If you know what they've done, then you'll know. If you don't know, then you don't know.
The Japanese are very modest people. Hii historia ya kujigamba na kujipiga kifua
hawana
na kujiannounce hiyo hatakani.
The French also don't. Remember in 2018, President Macron, the first French president to actually visit Kenya, came here. They signed a 30-year deal with Uhuru. This Mao Summit road you're hearing of, no, the plan they had was Mombasa, Mao Summit and beyond. But even now, when you look at the so-called railway extending from Dukamoja in Naivasha onward, the French are involved in that. Again, you don't hear them talk about it, but they are.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, and it goes beyond even just economic projects. We have other projects that have cultural value, educative value. The investment that France has had in education in Kenya is immense. I had the benefit of working with the Linguistic Cooperation Department, which deals with promotion of French in schools. But it's not just promotion, it's also the development of the teaching of French, among other subjects. Today, France is carrying on with the same mentality that it had before. Not brain drain, but developing and coming back to build. So for a long time, and you know, Kenyans, it's something we would love to understand, but we don't like it, is that they will give me scholarships to go there. A lot. And the education is very affordable. Then I will go there and they expect me after finishing my PhD to come back to my country. And that is one thing people are disgruntled about. Why are they asking us to go back? See, we came to study here, so we stay. So there are many Kenyans who stayed, yes, but the philosophy of the French has been, come, get the best education and go back. In France today, those who are doing their degrees in France, they're paying about 30,000 Kenya shillings a whole year. The university, it was hiked a bit, but universities have refused to hike in terms of shillings.
30,000 shillings for an entire academic year.
Yeah, I actually did one year degree in 2021. I paid 32,000 shillings. It was online, yes, and I had teachers directly. Every week we had class. It's the same as just being there, but it was 30,000. That's exactly what people are paying when they're there.
Okay.
And there's no discrimination between an international student and a foreign student.
Yes.
And this is open to a lot of people. So we've benefited a lot in terms of training. We have the biggest network of teachers of language anywhere in Africa. We have about 800 teachers of French. They are just having the elections of their chairman during the weekend, who is now Dr. Nuru Chalo of Maseno University. And these teachers of French are regularly taken to France and other countries for training. That is the one subject that benefits from constant training, like the entire year, all year round. And the learners also have a lot of benefits. So we were talking the other day about a language assistant program, where France allows young people to go and have their first international experience before they finish university. So between 70 to 100 Kenyan students are taken to France every year at the cost of the French government to go and assist the teacher of English. You didn't know this one.
I didn't know. Okay, when you finish this one, I'll ask the question I wanted to ask. Yes.
So between 70 and 100, and that is since 2019, they're benefiting from something called Language Assistant Program, where they go to France at the cost of the French government. So they're paid something modest, about 800 euros, which comes to about 100-something thousand shillings per month, to live there.
Yes.
And all they need to do is to assist a teacher of English to teach English.
That's it.
That's it. They work about 12 hours a week. So 12 hours of teaching. Of course, they have hours of preparation, but the rest of the time, these kids are getting international experience. I'm all over their IG accounts, and they're in Germany. They're in, once you're in Europe, you can move across to any other country. They're in Portugal, they're in Spain, and they're getting a lot of experience there, both in terms of their growth, their growth as professionals, as students, but also a lot of cultural exposure, which they now bring back to the country. And it doesn't have to be students who are learning to become teachers or teachers of language. I know one former student of mine who did law, Becky Gadirwa, and who is currently in France with her law degree. I know one who did medicine, and she decided to take a gap year because she felt like, I need a break. And this is her break. Now she's going to be in France for 1 year and then come back. I know one who I met last week. He did maritime engineering, and he took a gap and went to France, and he's been there for 2 years. Now he's come back, so he's like, below, I love teaching so much, and I want to become a teacher. I don't want to go to the sea.
Maritime engineering,
maritime haikuji vile nataka.
Nishapata degree sasa, acha nishughulike na mambo mengine.
So apart from, I've come from the language aspect of it and the teaching of French and the benefits we are getting for students who want to go and live in France, but there's also a lot of investment in TVET today, because the world is increasingly in need of technicians and people who can work using their hands, and people who can do work that involves your body, as opposed to our university degrees where we're mostly taught to think. So the world is moving towards that direction, and France, instead of draining the brains from the country, is actually investing in training those people. I must say also the Germans are taking the same route also. So there's a lot of investment that has come in terms of funding TVET institutions to offer technical training, especially in electrical and mechanical engineering. So like PC Kinyanjui College is having a funding by the French government in terms of, I think it's nanotechnology and some of these, some of these complicated terms. And we also have investment in the KMTCs, where they're now introducing foreign languages, especially French, because of the investment they're having from France. So France is building here. In case ever there is labor that is needed on the other side, of course, we'll be able to go. But also that labor is spread across the world, not just for here.
You know, your new Janja Sababu, see, once you empower people, even if they're not your own people, then number one, you reduce their reliance on you. So that saves you a lot. But also, like you said, the day you will need them, you can ask for that help, and they'll be inclined to help because you are the one who built that capacity. So they'll say, you know what, ulinipatizi skills, wacha nikuje nizitumie hapo. It's a good thing. And the question I wanted to ask earlier on, you've actually answered, because I was asking, they are, taking all these students and taking them to France. What is the benefit to them? But when you said that as long as wanasaidia kufunza Kiingereza, then it kind of makes sense. It's a mutual,
but
symbiotic.
It's reciprocal, because also City was saying about the agreements that were signed between the former President Uhuru and Macron during his first visit.
2018.
And yes, and as you know, these things, they will sign documents up there, then those documents will now give birth to smaller MOUs. And one of the smaller MOUs that was signed was to have a reciprocal exchange for the international students. So we also have French students who are coming to Kenya as language assistants for the same
to teach French.
Wow. To help teach French either in universities or in some schools. They're not as many as the ones we are sending there, but they are there, and they are present in every university.
Yes.
Because like I said, as you're learning a language, you need to be exposed to the culture. And having these guys around, bringing their culture, sharing with our students, our teachers, it's really enriching the experience.
Michael Olande amesema my former company Balore, is it Balore?
Bolore.
Karibu umeanza ima bolonye.
Ulimi ingeenda ilinyonge.
Usijainza tutwende tu.
Anasema my former company, that one, Africa Logistics, is French. And then Perceptronium is saying that I know Portuguese.
Wacha jisifu kidogo, anajua Portuguese. Tena.
And then Haron amesema locked in from Addis Ababa kama kawaida. Kama dawa. Right, so I didn't know
Beloré français.
I know.
By the way,
even Ruby's petrol stations.
That one I knew.
Ruby's Energy. Yeah.
Si Total ilikuwa ni yenu pia?
Total pia.
Ni ya Ufaransa kule.
Ni Ufaransa.
You know
mimi ni hapa na kule, so it's okay.
when you think of the input of what now, this is a French government, not Alliance, when it comes to the assistance in the education sector, where they're talking about TVETs, where they've sponsored research projects, or whether you are talking about the University of Nairobi, Technical University of Mombasa, Technical University of Nairobi.
Of Kenya.
Mombasa.
University of Kenya.
But ya Nairobi ni sawa because it's here in Nairobi.
Na kuna ya Mombasa pia.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What you will find is that there are things you take for granted when you are studying a language, and there are things you take for granted when you're studying certain subjects like engineering, because again, they don't shout and say, yes, you see. But where the water gets muddier is with the politics. But as we said, we'll bring the politicians to discuss that one.
I like when you're talking about things we don't see. I remember students asking me now, when I've learned French, what do I become? A translator and interpreter. I told them, hey, you're thinking like the 70s and you're a child of the 2000s. In the 2000s, you must think about the barriers to your professional growth. And those barriers are barriers you can see and those you can't see. One of those ones you're not seeing is the barrier of the language. Because I speak Kikamba, English, and Kiswahili. What are your barriers so far? You can only cross to Tanzania. With your Kiswahili, you can cross to Uganda. Now, the East African community today has French as an official language.
Yes.
Which means for you to get a job at AU, if you have French, it means that your chances are doubling. At the United Nations, French is a working language. Not just an official language. You can decide to work in French from Monday to Friday.
Okay.
In some organizations of the UN.
Right.
So somebody who has French and you've sent in the same exact CV. In fact, you were in the same class at the university, and that person had a first class, and you had another class. But then you have French fluent level, and you both apply to the UN. Who do you think the UN will favor?
Chances are the French-speaking person will be favored.
And I'm here, of course, I have to speak about French, but that is the same case with other foreign languages. Whether you're speaking German, you're speaking Chinese, Arabic, Portuguese, you have an added advantage. And that language plays a very important role. So much that I think they still have it. The UN has an allowance at the end of the year for a foreign language that we speak fluently.
You know, you're right, because when I'm checking jobs online, I see some of the requirements include a foreign language.
An additional advantage, it is called.
Nyingi zinakuanga. Na kuna zingine actually French is a requirement because they need you to go and work in a French speaking
When you
country.
get a scholarship to go to a country like Germany, you spend the first year learning the language. Okay?
Yeah.
Learning the language.
Yeah.
The language is, and I like you put it well or below, that is a barrier breaker.
It is.
You have that language and suddenly the world just seems to open up to you.
Yeah. So instead of kupigania makazi hapa Nairobi, Kenya, you start now thinking of working in a place like Cameroon.
Yes, wanangana na hii kampuni kuna mtu ambaye anaongea lugha yangu, acha na hiyo.
Let me now say how French has played for Kenyans in a space that is a bit sad. I will say sad because the NGO world has took a huge hit over the last 2 years with the reduction of funding from USAID and so on and so forth. And a lot of organizations had to scale down their operations. Part of those organizations had a lot of operations in West Africa. So they were forced to now start closing offices and to stay in particular places. Now, Nairobi, we are still attractive enough even today with our many issues. And a lot of organizations decided to retain their Nairobi offices as opposed to West African or Central African offices. What does that present for Kenyans? It means that these organizations that are now based in Nairobi still have to manage their operations in those countries from their offices here. And it's not only NGOs, we also have a lot of international companies that are based here and that are managing operations outside the country. We have, for example, Africa Guarantee Fund, which is managing West Africa. We have AMREF with offices in West Africa. We have ODU, who are making corporate solutions, selling in West Africa. We have SGS, it's a testing and qualification organization. I'm just naming the guys who have come to my office the last few months to tell me, please connect us to people who speak French. Connect us to people who speak. People are looking for workers as opposed to workers flooding their offices looking for work. So actually right now we have organizations that are telling us provide us with people who speak French and have just a little knowledge of what we want. It's not necessarily going to be an interpreter. It's about being an accountant and handling francophone accounts. At some point Diageo had taken over EABL and Diageo had operations all over Africa. They had an entire accounts department that required French language. Yeah. Fortunately or unfortunately, you know, they picked from Alliance Française and the other organizations, so our colleagues went there. But you can imagine an entire accounts sub-department just because they speak Francais. You have AMREF, you have Doctors Without Borders, Médecins Sans Frontières. And Médecins Sans Frontières are all over Africa, but their main offices are here. And you know, it has different arms. All the three are represented in Nairobi. They're based in Nairobi and operating in East, Central and West Africa. I'm talking about the potential of just exposing a young professional to the French language and for them being able to now become a product. We call them global products as opposed to local products. And this is the potential that a language can have for you, a foreign language for that.
Obilo, merci. We have unfortunately come to the end of the conversation, but tumesema to connect now to a Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
Na City amesema utatuletea huyo politician mwenye mko naye huko office.
The embassy has somebody who actually manages these political issues. There's always a political officer in every embassy.
There is.
All right. Thank you so much. That is where we come to an end. Parting shot, my friend?
Parting shot is
in French, please.
Merci beaucoup à Radio Génération Kenya pour l'invitation aujourd'hui pour parler des bénéfices du sommet Afrique Forward et de la visite du président Macron, et c'était un plaisir de partager les expériences, de partager les bénéfices d'apprendre la langue française au Kenya aujourd'hui. Et j'aimerais revenir ici à notre jour pour parler de la langue française. You see the way you are smiling and you don't know what I said.
Yeah,
no,
I was getting it, but
I've got me nimepata phrase moja.
What we shall do, we shall have a translator confirm kama umesema kitu mbaya.
Now, what I did there, just before we end, what I did there as a teacher is that I employed a lot of transparent words.
Okay.
Transparent words are words that have similar meanings in different languages, just to give you cues of where we're going. But it is a real pleasure to be here.
Okay.
I feel like there's still so much more to share. If there's ever another opportunity, I'll be very happy to be back.
There will be.
I'll be very happy to come back.
We will invite you again.
Yes.
Yes.
Here is the news with Winnie Maganga.
This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. President William Ruto and French President Emmanuel Macron have signed several major deals worth billions of shillings. The agreements cover transport, energy, ports, digital technology, education and agriculture, marking a new chapter in Kenya-France relations. The deals were announced after talks at State House Nairobi during the Africa Forward Summit, which brought together leaders and investors from across Africa and Europe.
Among the key instruments signed today is the rehabilitation and modernization of the 83 million euro or 12.5 billion Kenya shillings Nairobi commuter rail, which will serve as a central pillar of our urban transport modernization program. The Nairobi Commuter Rail 5 is expanding and upgrading key commuter rail corridors linking Nairobi to satellite towns such as Syokimau, Embakasi, Ruiru, and Kikuyu. New extensions including the Rurutangong line.
Second Lady Joyce Kithure has called for more support and empowerment for mothers, saying women are key to the country's social and economic growth. Speaking at Mother's Day celebrations in Karen on Sunday, Kithure praised mothers across the country for their hard work, sacrifice and role in shaping families and communities.
We thank you for that because every society stands strong on the sacrifices, prayers, wisdom and resilience of mothers. A mother is often the first teacher, the first caregiver, the first counselor, and the first source of love and joint experiences. Behind many successful families, responsible citizens, and great leaders, there's usually a mother who sacrificed quietly, prayed faithfully, and worked tirelessly.
Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku has criticized former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, saying President William Ruto does not need anyone's permission to visit or develop Mount Kenya region. Speaking at a church service in Embu, Ruku called Gachagua's remarks reckless and misleading.
Unanjiita wewe ndio mtoto ya Maumau, na vile vile nataka nikwambie watoto ya Maumau ni wengi katika mlima. Hapa Embu kulikuwa na General Gubugubu, kulikuwa na General Kevote, kulikuwa na General Mwaliama, pale Meru kulikuwa na General Baimungi, kulikuwa na General Roko, pale Kirinyaga kulikuwa na majenerali. Sisi zote ni watoto wa Maumau. Mababa zetu walipigania uhuru wa taifa letu la Kenya. Uache kunjiita ati wewe ni mtoto wa Maumau peke yako ukiwa unakaa pale wa Munyoro.
A passenger from a cruise ship hit by hantavirus outbreak has shown symptoms while being flown back to France. The country's prime minister said. Sebastien Laconu said the French citizen developed symptoms on a flight from Tenerife to Paris, so all 5 people evacuated from the ship have been placed in strict isolation. More than 90 tourists are being brought home from the Dutch ship MV Hondius, which was anchored off the Canary Islands. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
Sports on Radio Generation.
Good morning, I'm Samuel Otieno. Marcus Rashford scored a stunning free kick as Barcelona beat rivals Real Madrid to seal their 29th La Liga title with 3 games remaining to the end of the season. The England forward put the hosts ahead before Ferran Torres got the second with a fine finish, as Hansi Flick's side cruised to victory in the El Clasico at the Nou Camp. Both players ran to their head coach when they scored after his father passed away at the weekend. Barcelona are now 7 titles behind record winners Real after claiming Spain's top flight in back-to-back seasons. The Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta called his players phenomenal after a big week for the Gunners. They beat Atletico Madrid to reach the Champions League final last week, then won at West Ham on Sunday thanks to a late goal from Leandro Trossard. The win keeps them 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League table. And that's your sports update on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Samuel Otieno.
Sports on Radio Generation. This is Radio
Shh, stay close. Just ahead, the king of the savannah. To your left, zebras grazing. Listen, the wild is speaking. This is not a classroom lesson. This is one you experience. With the Wild Scholars Program by the Kenya Wildlife Service, students explore Kenya's wild classrooms for less. Premium parks like Amboseli and Lake Nakuru National Parks, now just 500 shillings from 750. Urban and wilderness parks like Nairobi, Savo East and Savo West National Park, 400 shillings from 500. And for school trips, special bus rates up to 45 seats and above 45 seats, 3,000 shillings. Plus free entry for children under 6 years and free entry for up to 3 teachers in all KWS parks, because great lessons are lived. Wild Scholars, experience, explore, understand.
Radio Generation Classifieds. The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast. Curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights. Radio Generation.
A very good morning to you. Welcome back to Radio Generation. The time right now is 13 minutes past 8 o'clock. And in studio, we have our guest for this hour. He is none other than Abdullahi Alas. He's a governance commentator, a very good friend of the show. Anakujanga anapotea kidogo kidogo, anatuambia konowe, anatumia mapicha. Abdullahi
kidogo ako Mandera.
Kidogo anatutumia picha za ngamia. Abdullahi, good morning and welcome back to Radio Generation.
Good morning and good morning to the viewers. It's good to be back.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Umepotea sana.
Mandera 6 months.
Ulikuwa Mandera 6 months, eh?
Yes.
How is Mandera?
We had drought in January, February.
Right.
Very tough. My uncle, who is 8 years, tells me that it's his first time in his 8 years that camels are being fed with maize instead of grass or fodder. But they survived. About 50 of them, only one died. 9 survived. They survived themselves.
Yeah.
I lost one he-camel. Eaten by it got lost and then it was eaten by a hyena.
It was found dead.
Yes, found dead.
Having been mauled by hyenas.
Hyenas. But generally, currently, we are blessed with rains, and the people have lost a lot of livelihood during those 2 months, especially goats and cows. But the camel, a few of them have survived.
Yeah.
And most people are now okay.
Camels are very resilient animals.
Yes, especially if they stay where they are used to.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't like movement. And then the treatments that they need to get, they need water. But they are very, very resilient animals.
Yesterday was Mother's Day. Where did you spend your Mother's Day?
I tweeted, I wrote about it. It was the first thing I was talking to Edna about. There is something that was supposed to be sung here, but because of copyright we could not, about Mother's Day.
Okay.
But let me take this opportunity to say Happy Mother's Day to all mothers, not just my mom, my wife who bore my children, and my sisters, and all Kenyan mothers. We say thank you very much, because giving birth to a boy and molding him to a man is the most difficult thing. Keeping a grown-up man is another difficult thing.
Yes.
So our mothers and our wives and our sisters are playing a big role in participating in keeping us focused. The man, when he goes out, he must conquer, but the women, we have to treat the insecurity. That's the only thing women need.
We have to treat their insecurity. What do you mean by that?
I mean, you're here today in Mbuvi.
Yes.
You're opening a can of worms, but go on.
No, I'm saying, we're journalists. We just trigger discussions.
Yes.
If your wife doesn't feel she's safe when you're at work, you are not running around trying to hide yourself in the dark.
Yes.
And she knows you're coming back safe.
Yes.
That's all a lady needs.
Okay.
Security. Security for you, but for her, it's addressing her insecurity. But for us, she has to tap us at the back in the morning and tells us, go conquer the world. That is the essence of a man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get you.
Abdullah, I want to understand.
Yeah.
How was your harvest this year?
We have just planted. Remember, the rains are just 2 months.
Yes, I'm talking about the harvest, because I know you're a farmer.
Yes, we didn't do much because of the drought. A lot of expense went to the animal feeds. There is not much support from both national government and the county government.
Yes.
Because providing seeds, when the people at the helm are not real farmers, there is a problem. The most difficult thing for a farmer is during the cultivation.
Okay.
Planting is easy, but there is a lot that goes in from cultivation to harvest. During cultivation, you need to prepare the farm. It is quite expensive. Watering, some farms are far from the river, so you need piping. You need now to deal with pesticide and all those kind of things. You need extension officers to come and train farmers. Remember, everybody's not like me. I can go to YouTube, I can go to Perplexity and ChatGPT and get information faster than most people.
Yes.
But my mom,
she
needs someone who will sit with her if I'm not there, and then tell her, this is how you're planting. Like now, the spacing of the maize is supposed to be around 75 centimeters. But what they are doing is not that. And that, affects the harvest.
Yes.
We will have done better, but we are, in terms of agriculture, most counties in northern Kenya are just average. They're not doing much. Because, when you come from 62 years of struggling with food security, you're supposed to be very innovative. But I said the most dangerous people was when stupid men lead people.
Yeah.
They don't think. It's not everyone who was given the ability to, because for you to think, you need to invest in your brain, just like building a muscle.
True.
You have to read, you have to research, you have to listen, you have to consult, you have to, talk to other people, you have to read other people's books. Ideas come from so many things. Let's say you're a leader, you've never read a book, or the last time you did maybe was in the university.
Yeah.
You can't opine an article, an op-ed in the Daily Nation or Standard. I mean, you can't even commission a small baseline survey because you don't know the matrix. You don't know the difference between a matrix and an indicator.
Yeah.
So how do you lead people? You just do the average things. Buy some drugs, buy some water, run around here, construct some balls. We need to look at water like let me compare Makueni and Mandera.
Yes.
Makueni, they have made water not just for drinking. They looked at it as a commercial entity where they can get profit. Meaning, they will provide water to farmers who will produce cereals and mangoes, and then they built a factory. Remember, Makueni is a third of Mandera. Mandera is like 25 kilometers squared, and Makueni is 8,000.
Okay.
But if you compare the budget, we are 14, they are 8, and they're producing mango, courtesy of Professor Kibutu Kibwana. So when you have a guy who has a PhD in law being the governor, that's what you get. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm interested in your politics because I remember the very first time, Abdi, we met, you told me that you are gunning for MP.
Yeah.
You hadn't decided whether it was Mandela. Was it North or East, West?
Yeah, Mandela East or Mandela North or deputy governor or a lot of things.
Are we decided now?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
There's a lot.
Why?
I've been in politics from 2013.
Okay.
A lot can change.
Yeah.
I had hope with the DCP.
Yes.
When I went to the former deputy president.
Right.
We went there because they had a candidate. At least we thought we had a candidate to vie in Banissa. Later on, from the same meeting, I saw it through that candidate wasn't ready. He's using the party so that he becomes the highest bidder for the government.
Okay.
So I warned some people. Mr. Gachagua and I spoke. One question I asked him, what is in it for me to be in DCP? We spoke. He gave an instruction that I should be part of the secretariat. No one spoke to me again from that day, whether it's the Secretary General or anybody else. No one came back to me.
Hold on, because you started at Banissa. I remember I hosted...
The guy bolted, he was given some advisor somewhere and then he left.
He was called Adan.
Yes, he was here.
So Adan Ali Bolt. Maybe there was some... Because I was told things working in Somali.
If he told you anything else, he lied.
No, we didn't talk after that. Yeah. But this is what I understand the Somali community works like. The elders of the community decide who is going to be the MP, MC, and so on and so forth. There was some by-election just the other day.
Banissa.
What are Banissa? Kulikuwa na ingine. Where two siblings were running.
That was in Garissa.
It was where was that?
I'm trying to remember the name.
Yeah. But yes, well, there were two. Then there was a sister and a brother. Then eventually they were both on the ballot. The brother ended up.
That was
Isiolo, thank you.
Yeah, when the MP died,
Yes.
The daughter just graduated because she was an advocate. The community preferred the boy.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I was told the community elders are the ones who will direct and say, this is the person we have chosen for this area.
It is not the community. It's elders for hire.
Okay.
Explain, please.
You see, when you talk of Kikuyu community or Kamba community or Luya community or Somali community, you're talking about a population. It is not. These are around 20 people talking to a lot of money. And by the way, the one for Isiolo, the government has used a lot of money. The one for Banissa, the government has used a lot of money. So these are elders for her. You know, if somebody has a decision he made 20 years ago, like why I always remember my mom is she was there for me. That focus, focus. So we knew where we were going. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had the determination to keep walking, regardless of what happens. Now, these elder for hire is they're given money. Especially at night, or by the governor, or by the deputy governor, or by the MP, or by the president, or anybody else, because they are channeled through different places.
Yes.
So these elders that take money. There is also political patronage, decentralized to the counties, where the office is associated with resources, appointments, jobs, contracts, all these things. So people are eyeing that. So in Banissa or in other places, the elders, what happens in Northeastern is not democracy. It's called anointment by hired elders.
Okay.
Where you hire services from them because they are the elders.
And then they deliver that service.
Yes. And for me, I have a problem with this word elder because being 70 doesn't give you the audacity to tell us what to do or not to do.
Okay.
Just because you lived before us, it means you were born before us.
But it is assumed that elders all over, whether it's Kamba elders or Kikuyu ones, or in this case Somali ones, they come with some wisdom.
Well, are you a hired? Is a hired person has any wisdom? If you can be given money, not to look at merit and meritocracy.
Okay.
You see, what I always tell them up to today, we have issues with them, like myself. Like in 2017 when I was vying for Member of Parliament in Mandela North, they told me to bring the CV. I asked them, who amongst you can read? My CV is like 22 pages.
Okay.
I was building my life for the last 18 years. Then an elder somewhere, part of the reason why I cannot even get a job with the government, they want us to go to the elders and tell them, take me somewhere. I chose to suffer in silence if I want, instead of doing that. Because why will I go to school and then I go back to an elder and tell him? It just shows the structural problem of the Kenyan architecture in terms of politics. So those elders are the biggest hurdle, the biggest obstacle to visionary, competent, capable, kind people.
All right. You went to DCP. DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua told you that he wants you to be in the secretariat.
No, he instructed the Secretary General.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
In this case, it's who is this?
Hebron.
Okay. So akawaambia huyu jamaa secretariat.
He was going to, you see, when we met, that was our first meeting with Gachagua.
Okay.
When we met, I spoke to a man I thought had some credibility. You see, no one is perfect. I'm not perfect, we are not. But when we were speaking together, in Islam, we don't judge what is in the heart, because it's only God who knows what's there. You judge a man but what he tells you. He was going to US, you remember?
Yes,
I was going to Norway. So I told him, everybody spoke. I was the last person to speak. I told him, His Excellency, what is in it for me? He told me, talk. I remember I spoke for 5 minutes and 48 seconds.
Okay.
When I finished, His Excellency, the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, instructed Hebron,
the SG.
The SG. Minor commander was there to add me into the secretariat.
Okay.
What were the people supposed to do?
What
were those people left to the responsibility? I knew this is a transitional. I studied governance.
Yeah.
So this was a transitional team that was supposed to build the party. So as someone from the pastoral community and from the north, and he thought I had some credibility and some knowledge and I will add value to the party, he instructed the people in the party to add me to the secretariat. Nobody ever called me.
So after that, and did you call them? Because
I did,
and I'm trying to cover all the bases here.
Yeah, I know, it's okay. I will also be fair to them.
Yeah,
I texted them.
You did? Yeah.
I called everybody.
Right.
It is the normal Kenyan way, where you're told stories. I told you, I believe in systems and structures. If the processes are bad, the outcomes will be disastrous. So I said until and when, and I did not give up on him. I did not give up on Rigathi Gachagua.
Okay.
I did not. Because to some extent, he controls certain followings. In principle, I do not agree on how the president is running the country.
Okay.
I don't. Because he's doing housing, those are good things. He's brought some electric bike, those are good things. How did the building the growth of the economy translate into the household welfare? If you look at my good friend who used to work there, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, he always corrects me because I get it wrong.
This guy?
Yes.
You worked there?
I didn't, but
why
don't you let Abdullahi continue speaking?
Oh, okay.
The reference point is not that I worked there. The reference point is the details that I will provide and say, no, this is not so. This is
yes.
So he has this, it's a moniker.
So
he refers to me as the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics.
Yes. Yes. So I think it was March. If you look at the data, 125 Kenyans are richer than 45 million Kenyans. The prices of food, everything has gone up by 12%. You see, things are a bit expensive now than they were. The economy has grown.
Yes.
Development has softened. But if you look at it, the household. In December, I was in a place called Silale in Baringo. There's a bishop in Chemologot. That bishop is Pokot, but he's complaining about political patronage in literal sense that I'm complaining about in Mandera.
Okay.
So Kenya has a problem. You see, so when you're and I discussed this in other forums, if as early as 2021, Kenya does not have an economical problem. Kenya has a structural problem. What is the economic logic of these policies? You see, what do you want to achieve? Are we looking at consumption versus productivity? Like if you look at what's happening in the country currently, you can ask some questions based on, let's say, economical reality versus political promises. You see, you go to national growth versus household income. You go to infrastructure spending versus productivity. You go to devolution functioning, funding versus actual service delivery. So these are things you need to look at.
Okay.
What is the economical logic of building a road if you have not invested in industries and there is no productivity going on? So the road from Isiolo to Mandera is one of the best things that ever happened. There are two things, you know, there is something I support the president. It doesn't mean that I don't support him anything. Digitalizing procurement.
Yeah.
100%. Why? The ministers don't want it. Members of parliament don't want it. The 47 governors do not want it.
It tells you it's a good thing.
You know why? I studied communication and partly I also studied AI. Everything you do in FMS and procurement softwares leaves a footprint, and you cannot manipulate the process.
Yes,
because there are, you know, checks and balances using even AI, data and AI, isn't it? They do not do paperwork. That's where money is stolen. So I don't know why the president is entertaining these governors. I don't know why the president, His Excellency President Ruto, is entertaining this nonsense. Tell them, we have passed the law, yes. I want it implemented in 3 months. The governor who doesn't do, you place him under house arrest. Hii pesa si ya mama yake. 14 billion, 13 billion, 10 million. Yeah, Duale told that on then Ruto, now in the judicial, judicial commission.
Yeah.
Like hii pesa, we are telling the politicians, hii pesa si ya mama yenu. Hii pesa ni yetu. So, Mr. President, crack the whip on procurement. That's where the biggest financial pilferage of this country is happening. People are getting rich because of contract. What have they ever produced?
They've been doing that for the longest time since independence.
Yes.
You're right. Let me ask you something, Abdullah. You raise a pertinent point. If something is as useful as this matter of procurement, and it is opposed by literally every political body that we have in the country, why do you think the president isn't cracking the whip that one believes he can? Not should, can. He is able to.
Yeah, he has the instrument.
No, he does.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he do it? Because that's the question.
I
mean, just your opinion.
Yeah, no. The adage out there is he is as corrupt as them.
But that doesn't really stop a president from cracking the whip for a simple reason. If I look at the president through the lenses of what, and I would use, if I'm looking at a politician, it is more of a political question than an actual question, meaning this. Let me ask it differently. Is it the right time for him to crack the whip? Because in politics, timing is very important.
No, I know, but you see, he had 3 years already. We have like 14 months to election. I told you, there is a structural problem, and I said this in 2021 when we first met. When the people do not trust the institutions, they go back to the ethnic cocoons. That's why you hear this nonsense of Kikuyus, warriors. I mean, we were created to be nations. Yes. I didn't choose to be warrior. You didn't choose to be Luya or, you know, Luo.
Yes.
Or Kamba.
Or Kisi.
Or even Kisi. Or anyone, or the 47 sub-tribes in this country. We are living amongst a global world of about 8 point something billion. So we need to prosper and develop this country, and then when we die, those behind us can pick. The structural problem is we have the most expensive government under this president.
Okay.
The wage bill is going to salary, as if about 1 point something million, no, 1.2 million or 1.02 million persons are galloping with 80% of our budget. You see, development means when everyone has something to eat, and they have money, and they have the choice to buy whatever they want. Can that be said for most Kenyans today? They can't. I just shined my shoes around Hazina Towers.
Yes.
And now you speak to people. There are mothers there. I speak to the shoe shiner there. I speak to the mamambogas. Kenyans live in an indignified life. We have a very beautiful country, but we have the most rapacious politicians. Very greedy people. They just collect money. money is only there to make our lives easy. It's not everything.
Okay.
It is not. It's only facilitate few things.
Did you reach out to Gachagua about the situation that you know?
I want to reach him to do here today. I have an opportunity. His Excellency, the instructions you gave before I went to in August. That was in August, 2025. Before I went to Oslo, that instruction was not fulfilled. I have a lot of things we can do together. I have not given up on you, but I don't know how to reach you. And your Secretary General is as quiet as the cat in the house. Yeah.
If things don't work out on that end, and you know, you sort of like wash your hands, mambo ya DCP useme imeisha.
You know, I'm not a DCP party member up to today.
Yeah.
I only went there with a friend. I had a discussion with a gentleman I respect.
Yes.
Gachagua is 60. I'm in my 40s. So he's an elder person I should respect.
Okay.
From where I come from.
So
the way we spoke,
yes,
nobody did what he said. So I cannot become a member of a party when I see the systems are not working well. Yes.
So are you willing to work with any other party, say UDA, for example?
UDA, no. They fucked up this country.
Language.
Wameharibu mambo.
Wameharibu mambo.
So in that case, then, who, if things don't work on UDA?
You know, political parties in this country are only tools because of compliance. What do they stand for? From KANU to NASA, to ODM, to TNA, to URP, to currently Jubilee, to all these other parties. You see, when I told you, when the culture and the structure of a country is just haphazard done, then you see that it's just, we are complying with the law.
But is it really haphazard, Abdullah?
But there is just, the patronage in the government is still in the parties. Who gets the nominations? Who decides who gets these nominations?
But that isn't haphazard, that is deliberate.
You see, from the face value, yes. You see, democracy will demand people competitively, publicly, honestly look at who deserves this position.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Now, in London, I think just these other weeks, you'll see a 19-year-old, a British citizen of Somali descent was elected. When is a Somali president going to be elected in this country? When am I, as Abdullah, going to be judged by the character of my soul and the knowledge of my brain that I can be a president of this country?
You're heading in the right direction, Abdullah. You have no fear.
Yeah.
It always starts somewhere, and it is not a straight road. It's an uphill climb. I'm not saying it's a windy road.
Yeah.
It's uphill, and then it is windy. You see, everything you say is true.
Yeah.
But if you look at our politics, everything you describe is the uniqueness of Kenyan politics, which begs us to ask the question, why do we practice this politics in the way that we do? Because the citizenry doesn't benefit from this politics. The so-called Mwananchi actually doesn't benefit. If anything, their lives get worse. And my problem is not with the national government. Actually, I do not have a problem with the national government per se. My problem is with the county governments. Because these are the units of government that were supposed to cascade the so-called development to the people of these 47 regions. And they do not, bar a few or two.
Yeah, Senior CT, I don't know why people don't get me sometimes. I told you, when the colonial left, they left a structure. That government was meant to control, to steal resources, and instill fear in the population. The same was used by Kenyatta. The same was used by Moi. We relaxed a little bit of Kibaki. Uhuru was killing Kenyans. His government.
Kibaki was also killing Kenyans. Yes.
So the system is a rigid.
Moi was killing Kenyans.
Yes. So the system is designed, okay, to protect the elites, the political families, and their cronies. Did I see Nelson Harvey asking the president to remove Karanyam?
Yes, I have read the articles. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
you see,
article.
Decency and some moral. Both Christians, like for us Muslims and Catholics, are very close to whatever we do in terms of belief. It demands that when you're a leader, you inspire people, then you at least pretend to have some resemblance of decency. What is it that a woman has that we don't know? What is it that a man has that a woman doesn't know? Shaking a buttock is for sitting, and then you go with it to the toilet. So when did it become a tool for us to advance government? Our problem is designed at the top. Currently, the presidency is very powerful. Have you seen a minister to everything we are told by the president? Why do we have 22 cabinet ministers? Why do we have over 40 permanent secretaries? I thought permanent secretaries are technocrats. The president is the one dishing roads. He's the one dishing this. He's the one appointment. I applied for jobs in this country, over 500. I've sent over 500 CVs.
Okay.
I have a degree in journalism and mass communication.
Yes.
Masters of Science in Governance, Peace and Security, with over 20 years. When I'm shortlisted, they ask for 500,000, 400,000.
How many times have you been shortlisted?
Only twice or thrice.
And all those times, pesa imeitishwa.
Even those shortlisted, it was just through friends. If you're shortlisted, you'll be kicked out in the interviews. Because you paid money. I know people who paid money and they're working.
Okay.
Now, do you think that guy is going to take care of Kenyans?
No, he will not.
He will ask. He has to get back his money.
That is a straightforward response.
Yes. Now, in those counties you're talking about, I said when I came, political patronage has been decentralized. So whatever that was in the national government is in there. We have a governor who is a small god. Then he's surrounded by his political families, his friends, loyalty. I refuse to be loyal. I will not get a job in this country. Why? I refuse to be a lawyer. Loyalty means you serve the governor even when you're a minister. I come, eat and walk away. They don't want that. They want you to carry the bag, sing for them, clap for them, stand up when you are
go to meetings on their behalf.
On their behalf. No, you see, we were created beyond these people. The design of what we have is God-given. We were given a brain to use it for mankind, to use it to improve this country. There's a place called Yatia not far from Kagiri in Baringo. I've seen Kipsigis, I've seen Tugens, I've seen Nandis worse than Somalis. I've seen Pokots.
Worse in what sense?
Worse in everything: water, education, health, hygiene.
You mean they're living in
I wish we had gone there with
abject poverty.
Extreme abject poverty.
Wanaishi vibaya kuliko wa Somali wa Northeastern.
Wa Northeastern. Now, that is Kenya for. If you go to Homa Bay, people are poor. If you go to Bomet, people are poor. 40-something, 57%. That is because the elites have coalesced up there. They're protecting themselves. You see, it has reached a point where in Northeastern, people are bragging about choppers, monies, buying ABCD. Where you have never worked. Your book, if you have written, the only person I think from Northern Kenya who has written a book is Duale. Proceeds from the book cannot buy a chopper. You know, insulting our when we do maths.
I don't know if I heard that he's also a camel herder or farmer.
He bought it. He didn't inherit it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe the business yangamia imemba hiyo chopper.
Pesa ilitoka wapi? What is raising hiyo pesa ya kununua hiyo ngamia ilitoka wapi?
Ilitoka wapi? You see, and he told us he did not inherit anything from his, from, I'm a camel herder.
Yes.
Duale is not. Duale bought camels. He never had camels.
Okay.
Because he was brought when he was young to Garissa and then he went to school. So, and it's the validation of Kenyan politician that how much wealth, what I call gathering or stealing public money, that I quote unquote pretty wealth accumulation. You think because you have big cars, you have big house, you have several wives, you're better other human beings? No, we are all human beings. It is the validation we put in our mind about money, that so and so is more respected and so is not more. The majority of the Somalis who have business in Nairobi have never gone to school. Some of them don't know even how to write. They sign a check of 100 million or 50 million or 40 million, they put their stamp.
Their fingerprints.
Their fingerprints.
Yeah.
So accessing wealth has nothing to do with going to school. We did not go to school to access wealth. We went to school so that we can think, so that we can learn. We did not go to school to increase our knowledge. We went to school to get knowledge so that we help humanity.
Okay.
That's why a brain surgeon will operate a brain after 30 years. That's why an engineer will design. That's why this expressway was built for us by the Chinese. If Kenyan brain was working, they will have designed, because they will steal the cement, they will steal all those metals, they will steal the timing, the engineer will not come, and then everything will collapse. I have a picture I will share with you, and I would like to request it to be shared on I shared it on, no, I think it's already on my Asiwa around Chester House.
Okay, here in the CBD.
Yes, was oozing Murphy. CBD.
Hiyo kinyesi hiyo inatoka huko.
Smelly, bro. In the sea, that is next to GPO, Parliament, Hilton, Parliament, Senate, all the structures of states. You know, the symbol of power, Supreme Court.
Ziko hapo zote.
Around there, then you have feces running around your tires and legs. 62 years after independence, and then you think people with brains are doing that? What is
It's called Sakaja.
Sakaja doing in Nairobi? What is he doing? I
saw him with the president 2 nights ago.
Abdullah, can I ask you a question? Do you, from something that you've just said, you sound like you have no hope that if you propagate views such as the ones you're propagating, you have no place in Kenya. Do you think that is true?
Have you read Africa Kills Her Son by Ken Saro-Wiwa?
No, I have not read the book.
I know of the book, but I have not read it.
There is a guy who works in the rail station, and he loves this woman. The guy might not be rich, but he's well built. I think women admire more than money.
Yeah.
Okay? So, hope is good. Hope is good.
Yeah.
But you need action. You need plan. You need strategies. You need innovations. You need a thinking man. A thinking man is a man, like I developed a proposal for Mandera County, and I've spoken to it about my member of parliament. I have it. 300 million project for Mandera North and Banisa.
Yeah.
I've been running around everyone who is concerned for the last almost 1 year. My thinking was, when you look at the weather, the rains were coming in March and April. So I wanted us to plan from December and then harvest some water at least. And we will not have spent 100 million or 200 million. But because they want quick money, constructions, dams, you know, buying this and that for 200 million or 100 million or 55 million, we have we have a societal problem where leaders are not honest. And, you know, I don't know whether you know cows. How much have you dealt with cattle?
I only see my grandmother's cattle, but I...
Have you ever gone around it?
Yeah.
There is certain kind of a thick. Hii inanyonya
damu, yes.
Kuna moja inanyonya damu mpaka inapasuka.
Nimesikia kuna kuanga na kama hizo.
Yes.
They don't know when to withdraw.
But there are tiny ones that are very dangerous.
Okay.
Kenyan politicians are both. Wengine wamenona mpaka unafikiria huyu jamaa kwa mbele yako ni kifaru ama ni binadamu.
Alas.
You see, so we eat to live. I have a problem with the structure of government. I have a problem with the economical logic of advancing some projects. 62 years after independence, Turkana, Mandera, Wajir, Garissa remain the poorest counties, ranging from 71% to 81%.
You know, like I started the conversation with you, is the first time I met you, you wanted to be MP, but today you've mentioned perhaps even being governor is
why do I want the deputy governor? The deputy governor is a principal assistant to the governor.
Yes.
Under the County Government Act.
All right.
He can also be a cabinet minister or secretary, what you call CEC.
Within the county.
Within the county. Committee executive member of the executive committee, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
My even thinking was to tell the person giving you the slot to you, the deputy governor, to give you CEC agriculture.
Okay, so not only are you serving as the deputy, but you have a docket.
Yes. And then I tell the governor, look, give me 2 billion shillings and give me 2 years. If I don't deliver, I'll resign and refund every shilling. Because these are things I know. I grew up with them. I saw how my grandfather was doing things. This is a guy who was born in 2007. I saw my dad. I saw my community struggling. 90% of the people in northern Kenya are pastoralists and subsistence farmers. That's where you need to invest. These other departments, like from policy level, you need to ask, why are you investing 2 billion in health? The national government is investing close to 150 billion Kenyan shillings in health. It's because Kenyans are sick. Why are Kenyans sick? There is no balanced diet. There is no access to food. The little they have is expensive. I've met the other day in Mandera, a young boy. My wife is a nurse, is a senior nurse. So I get a lot of information on health from her, isn't it? Now, a child needs to grow in his mother's womb for the first 1 year, especially 8 months, 9 months, 7 months, 8 months. The mother needs to feed well. In the first 3 months, she needs to rest. After the child is born, a child needs to be breastfed for 2 months. For a mother to breastfeed a child for 2 years, she needs to have well-balanced diet. They don't. Now, you'll see a 5-year-old with big head, big stomach, skinny legs. My child is not like that. Why is that child like that?
Okay.
It's because the parents cannot access what I can access. And the government has failed them by not producing enough food. We are relying on relief, we are relying on politics, and we are relying on consumption. Makueni has shifted from that a long time ago. They are relying on production, they are relying on economical resilience, and they are relying on markets. That's the difference now. That's why Makueni is doing better than us. So they've put those things there. So my thinking is, if I'm not going to be given the CEC for agriculture, I even don't want the deputy governor. Because a deputy governor alone will just earn 600,000, and then you will be around like a flower girl because there's no other work for you. Yes, there is nothing you can tell the governor, because the law does not allow two people to have certain authorities.
Yes.
Both the deputy president and the deputy governor, even if they are left with the country and the county in writing, they cannot hire, they cannot fire, they cannot transfer.
Okay.
They just maintain what is existing.
Now, I interviewed the DG of Mandera County, Dr. Ali Maalim, and I don't know about the governor currently. Is he seeking re-election, or is he done with his 2 terms?
Who?
The governor of Mandera County.
He's seeking re-election.
He's seeking re-election.
Yes.
All right. So, in case he listens to your proposal, because I don't know if he's willing to run again, for a second term with the current deputy governor.
There is nobody in Mandera who has ever run with a deputy. They've always been replaced. There was a deputy governor in 2013. He was replaced in 2017. And he was replaced in 2027. So there is a likelihood he's going to be replaced in 2027.
Can I ask the question how it is you endear the idea you have to the governor so that he understands exactly to his benefit that some of these things that you're proposing get done?
It's not the governor who decides who becomes the deputy. It is the family.
Whose family?
My family.
What do you mean?
These are, I told you, the anointments. Families propose so and so is going to carry.
And your family, what do you mean your family?
As in
your clan?
The sub-clan, yes.
Your sub-clan?
Somalis are just one big clan, but the sub-clans. I told you people are anointed.
Oh, no, I understand. Yes. So you are seeking an anointment?
No.
Let me ask you, is it possible for you to get to the position where you can be considered without following the laid out procedures of anointment, as you call it?
No.
No. Can you find a way?
You see, if you find a way, and the governor doesn't buy the idea of you being the CEC for agriculture, why are you going there?
No, but why don't you reverse it? Is it possible?
Probable, yes. Impossible, no.
That's the point I'm trying to make, because when something is probable, and let's use the phrases you've been using. You've gone to school, you have a brain, and now you put it to work. How do you get, because we say our politics about interest. How do I have
to rent elders. I have to hire them.
No. Abdullahi.
That is the only way you're going to go.
No, Abdullahi, no. Then everything you've said about the brain and the education, what you do, you're confounding it. Because if you're stuck at the status quo and there's nothing else, then we have wasted our time going to school and developing our brains.
Siti anakuanga na shida ya kuelewa that vitu kwa ground ni tofauti.
Let me finish.
It is not that niko na shida hiyo. And every community in this country has the way they conduct their politics. The only thing is this man is a lateral thinker. And then when it comes to this particular issue of the community, anaweka breki. I am saying wacha kuweka breki.
Sijaweka breki. I'm saying the only way.
No, that's breki.
No, I'm saying
it's when you say it's the only way, it means there's no other way.
No. You see, the only way is because of presidents. What happened in 2013? What happened in 2027? What happened in 2017? It's like that. That someone has to go to.
Abdullah, do you know what is difficult? This thing you're telling me is not difficult.
No, it's not.
I know your background and what you did and where you came from and how you went to school and the difficulties you faced. That was difficult. That if you presented someone with that person, tell you hapana mzee, wachana hiyo kitu haiwezekani. Hukuacha. And it is this.
Yes.
Everybody understands the benefit, bwana.
I'll try.
Everybody understands the benefit, and what you're proposing brings about more benefit than anything else that this community that you come from know.
Yeah.
How do you get them to understand that this is where the future lies? Because that's the difficulty.
You see, in life, CT, there are two things that are very standard, as in always constant: time and patience.
Okay.
You have time.
I have time.
Do you have patience?
I have patience. I will try. And what comes out of it, I'll come back.
Consult widely. This is doable. I have seen very many things that are considered undoable.
No, I'm saying it's not
and because of that, that is not a word. This can't be done. And that one I don't accept.
You see, if somebody says this cannot be done, that is a guy who gave up.
Okay.
You see, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it's becoming difficult to penetrate the kind of local politics that's there without money. No one has been elected in northern Kenya. I think the only person was a guy who was in Mandera East then, late Abdullah Abajan, who died that time. So sometimes charm works. Sometimes these things trying to talk people works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes you need hired elders.
But the good thing is, I'm not giving up, whether it's Mandera East or Deputy Governor or speaking about it. One thing why I'm talking up here is this is a larger forum that's going to reach many people. But what we need is counties in northeastern to look at agriculture as a form of production where we can have industries like Elwak. It can produce cement. Mandera can produce, I said the other time, using textile.
Yes.
You can produce belts and everything. But that needs process. That needs structures. That needs money. That needs innovation. That needs the willingness to do ABCD.
How long will it take for you to come back here and tell us that Mbuvi have decided that it is MP for Mandera West, or Mbuvi, I have spoken with the family and I will be the next deputy governor of Mandera?
I've discussed with my friend here only. I want to be an author, so I'm writing a book. So I may not come back in the next 6 months.
Wow. Nimeona unasoma kitabu ya Nzuki Waita.
Yeah, I'm reading the relationship between Kenya and Japan.
Yes.
And how things are, why Japan things are happening like that. And
I want to pick your brain as we come to the end of this conversation on the Africa Forward Summit that is being hosted by Kenya and France. Because there's been a lot of politics around it, is it something that you've given thought?
My people are saying it's going to take 2 days.
Yes.
And there are almost how many items to be discussed?
How many countries? First of all, 50.
Yeah.
30 heads of states.
Well, I see that, I don't want to be pessimistic, but I see that as an elite coalescing champagne avenue where people talk and go. Because for us to do what we want to do in Kenya, we have enough brains. We don't need France. Fast.
But we do.
No. Fasting fast. The money we have is not prudently used. I told you when I came, we did not have a money problem. We have a structure and economical logic problem. You see, when I have money and I want to eat, I look at my diet. Sometimes I just take viazi tamu and black tea. I can choose to go to Karen and Serena. A glass of juice like 800 or 1,000.
Yeah.
1,200. 1,200 for me is my budget for a whole week. So what I'm trying to ask you is, what is the economical logic of paying 1,200 going to Serena when it is just orange that came from South Africa? Or you can just eat your orange in Kenya and eat your duma and tea. So the reasoning is, whether you eat food, you know, the sweetness of the food is only this part. The moment it goes down, all the end result is known. Okay. So whether you ate from Serena and your body looks like the biggest rhino in this world, how did that help you?
Let me read a few. Let's
live like human beings.
Evan Sanyanga is saying, whenever I see Abdullahi Alas, Mwalimu Abduba Dida comes to mind. Mbuvi, ask him if they are related.
We are Somalis, yes. First, we are Muslims. We are Somalis. He comes from Lehele in Wajir. I come from Asabito in Mandera.
DK amesema, tell Abdi welcome to DCP and play a role at any level. Must go is real. Wewe umesema hiyo hapo kwa DCP umetoka.
Sijasema hivyo. Sijaingia. I only visited them.
Okay.
And I had opportunity to talk to His Excellency. From where I sit, I met a good... You see, people... There's something I wanted to say. People accuse Gachagua of tribalism.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, they do.
A Somali was elected in Laikipia. Was a Kikuyu elected in Wajir?
To be honest, I don't think so.
Ever. There is a nominated MCA from Asabito in Busia. There is one in Kisii. You saw a lady in Makweni. They are in Nairobi. How many MCAs of Luo, Kikuyu, and Kamba descent in Garissa, Mandera, and Wajir? This is Kenya. Juliet is in Suna.
Suna East.
Let's have a Luo or someone from Suna elected in Mandera East. You cannot be... You don't insult our intelligence by finger pointing at Gachagua, yet you are employing your sisters and cousins and wives in the counties and the national government in the name of Somalis, yet other Kenyans have tolerated us. They have given us nominated MCAs in almost every... There is a... In Kakamega, there is a chief officer, Somali, from Garissa. Okay? In, I think, Meru Embo, there is a Somali. There is a Somali almost everywhere in these counties. How many Luos? There is a Luo guy who was born in Wajir East.
Right.
Born, bred there.
Yes.
They refused to elect him as an MCA.
Anaitwa Onyango.
Onyango. He's there. Speaks fluent Somali. The hypocrisy of my kingsman in northern Kenya is nauseating. We feel like vomiting.
You know, I come from Kitui, Wacha nione kama nikienda hapo kwa border ninaweza itisha MCA nione kama mtanipatia hiyo border yetu na Garissa hapo.
No, the issue of what happened the other day, it was unfortunate.
Yes, it was.
That young girl was emotional, but the guy who killed the guy was a police officer who also committed a crime. Let us treat criminals as criminals.
Period.
Kenya is bigger than us. It was before us. It's going to be after us. Let's build a better Kenya for our children. I'm a father of 6 boys and a girl. I want them to thrive. I want them to work in Busia. I went to a Jamii primary school. I want them to travel around this country and outside. I don't want I don't want my son to have a tag over his head because of a stupid politician. No. If Gachagua is tribalist, so Kikuyus have elected a Somali in Laikipia. Let us elect a Uria in Mandera East, Wajir East, in Garissa, and then we can talk to him.
Okay. Thank you so much, Abdullahi. That's why we come to a close. Coming up in the next hour is an equally interesting conversation. Why don't you stick around to find out? Meanwhile, here's the news with Winnie Maganga.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. Alliance Francaise Nairobi is not just a French language center. It has grown into a major cultural hub for artists, students, and communities across Kenya. Speaking today on Radio Generation, Head of Pedagogy Obilo Ngongo said the institution has supported generations of creatives through cultural exchange programs, language training, and community initiatives reaching from Nairobi to regional towns.
And Alliance Française is not just what we are seeing in Nairobi.
Yes.
Alliance Française is a whole network. We have about 830 of them in the world, and their vocation is the same, is to be spaces where people can come and have social and cultural dialogues in a free manner. They are all apolitical and secular. Okay. So we don't discuss religion, we don't discuss politics. It's a space where you can come and express your ideas without necessarily being judged. So we have the cultural side.
All right.
But also to be able to encourage people to interact from different cultures, then we are also there to facilitate language.
Right.
And the one language that we facilitate the most, the one we are known for, is the French language. But what people don't know is that also for foreigners coming into the country, we do offer English and Kiswahili classes. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
On request, of course.
All right.
And then we are also allowed to offer any other local language. So if you go to Alliance Kisumu today and you say you want to learn the Luo, they will look for a teacher and offer you the Luo. The Alliance in Eldoret, they will teach you Kalenjin.
2 bodies have been recovered from a gold mine in Ogago, Bondo sub-county after miners got trapped while efforts continue to find a third victim. The recovery operation is now on its second day, with families asking for help to retrieve their loved ones and give them a proper burial. Meanwhile, artisanal miners from West Pokot, where a recent mining accident killed more than 10 people, are calling on the government to introduce safety rules for their work, which is their main source of income.
Tungeomba county government ili awatusaidie vile tunaweza kufanya mambo ya bill mochari hadi wafike nyumbani wazikwe. Hatuna uwezo hata moja.
Watu hawa wanaishi kwa maisha ya umaskini, hawana hata njia za kusomesha watoto wao. Inji yenyewe ni mawe bure, vile unavyoona kila mahali ni mawe. Hawana hata njia ya kulima ama inji yenyewe sio ardhi ambayo unaweza panda ama kulima mimea.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has called on Kenyans to register in large numbers ahead of the 2027 general election. Speaking in Kapsabet, Nandi County on Sunday, Mudavadi said it's not just about winning, but making sure victory is big enough to avoid any disputes. He warned that Kenya must break the cycle of contested elections, pointing to past disputes, and said the focus should be on giving President William Ruto a clear mandate in 2027.
Round ya kwanza ya Uhuru kushinda kulikuwa na petition. Round ya pili ya Uhuru kushinda kulikuwa na petition. Round ya kwanza ya Mheshimiwa Ruto kushinda tukawa na petition. So we must break that cycle tuhakikishe kwamba this time we shall not have a presidential petition.
The body of one of 2 U.S. soldiers who went missing last week during a training exercise in Morocco has been recovered, the U.S. Army announced. The Army identified him as 27-year-old First Lieutenant Kendrick Lamont Key Jr., a platoon leader and air defense artillery officer from Richmond, Virginia. A Moroccan military search team found Key's body in the water along the shoreline within about a mile of the cliffs, where both soldiers went missing on 2nd of May. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast. Curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
A very good morning to you and welcome back. It is now 10 minutes past 9 o'clock. My name is Mugala Mbuvi. This is the People's Breakfast on Radio Generation. 88.8 FM in Nairobi, 90.7 FM in Mombasa, Garissa. It's 89.5. In this hour, we want to talk about unlocking the potential of the blue economy. Joining us is Dr. Eric Aligula. He is the head of the Oceans and Blue Economy at the Executive Office of the President. Daktari, a very good morning to you and welcome to Radio Generation.
Thank you very much. My pleasure to be here.
Yes. Before we get into the very heavy conversation of the blue economy, the blue oceans, or the maritime area, Siti will share with you our methali, which is a proverb that we had this morning, and we would like you to tell us your thoughts on that proverb, what you think about it, your own interpretation of that proverb. So, Siti, over to you.
Back to literature class.
Exactly.
When I was asking him about the proverb, yes, I could see his eyes and he's like, oh my goodness.
What on earth is this? I'm back to literature class.
Yes. And I agree with you fully. I was a teacher of literature and the English language, so I will be forgiven if I have fallen on to my bad ways in my earlier training. The proverbs for this week come from the Republic of the Sudan, not to be mistaken with the Republic of Southern Sudan, a country that should have been in the coup belt of West Africa. If you look at just the number of times the governments have changed from 1958 and coup, counter coups and continuing coups up to the 20th century. Anyway, the proverb: if your relatives are dogs, make a tail for yourself.
If your relatives are dogs, make a tail for yourself.
Yes, by all means fit in.
Tafadhali. Daktari, over to you.
It's an interesting proverb. I guess it speaks to adapting to your environment. And what do they say? When you go to Rome, do as the Romans do.
Yes, acknowledging
something close to that.
Actually, it is that very thing.
Yes, not close.
You're spot on. You're spot on.
It is it.
Yeah.
My literature teacher would be very proud of me. Mr. Ombeta, if you're here.
Ulishika
kazi mzuri.
Hakupoteza wakati wake kwa daktari.
Hakupoteza wakati. Na huyu mwanafunzi pia hakupoteza wakati wake darasani.
Kabisa. So daktari, again, like I said, karibu tena sana to Radio Generation. Whenever we have guests such as yourself rather, I usually ask them to give us an overview of their role as far as your title pertains.
Okay, I'll try to be brief.
Sure.
The Oceans and Blue Economy Office is an office, so it's a unit that was established in the Executive Office of the President in around 2020 with the sole purpose of providing policy advice to various departments of government on the commercialization of blue resources. So I think it will be a little bit clearer as we go on through with the discussion what we mean when we say commercialization and when we talk about blue resources. So we are advisory, we are not we don't implement. We are a very small unit, and we engage with different stakeholders in that regard.
Wow, okay. Indeed, when you said you were going to be brief, you actually meant it, eh?
I think this fine gentleman didn't only pay attention in the literature class, he paid attention in the English class. That's what you call précis.
There are folks, when you tell them explain, and then they project. But it's a good thing, nonetheless. We appreciate it. Now, when we talk about unlocking the potential of the blue economy, what exactly is that potential? What is it that this blue economy can do for the country of Kenya?
I think to answer that question clearly, it's important to understand what is the scope of the blue economy. And what exactly do we mean by the blue economy?
Yes.
So when I'm speaking about the blue economy, I'll be speaking about both our ocean resources,
yes,
and our inland waters.
All right.
It's useful to understand that Kenya is a coastal state and an aspiring maritime nation. We have our total landmass, terrestrial landmass, is about 585,000 square kilometers. Our exclusive economic zone is about 245,000 square kilometers. So that tells you the scope of land. So when we talk about land, in technical terms, we are referring to both the terrestrial,
yes,
which is the land side, and then the land as we know it,
yes,
and also the water, the maritime water side. So the our maritime waters are a significant portion,
yes,
of our terrestrial or our land. Now, this body of water has significant resources, which we call blue resources. And these resources are assets that we need to exploit. So let's take the basic one that people generally know. When you're going on holiday, you're going to Mombasa for holiday. Holiday is around the beach, and traditionally that's coastal tourism, as we know, beach tourism. So that's an asset that generates jobs, it generates income for the government, and so on, and so for the republic, and so on and so forth. Then there is the port. We know 90% of our imports and exports are seaborne. So if you think about everything you're consuming, 90% of that is brought in through the port. So that's another value chain. Then there is fish. Lesser known, but it's there. Our maritime waters have about a potential of about 300,000 metric tons of fish or biomass that we can exploit. We are exploiting less than 13% of that resource.
Yes.
Then you have extractives, oil and gas, which we've been exploring for a bit of time,
yes,
but we've not exploited. Then you have minerals, gold, manganese, that are there that need to be exploited. Then there is energy, tidal energy, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
But also desalination. You can do desalination to get water from there. All these are different value chains. We talk about 85 sectors and subsectors that comprise the blue economy. We are exploiting, its contribution to GDP today is about 2%. Other countries which have successfully optimized the blue resources are doing anything between 10 and 20%. So that's the potential that we need to unlock, or that is unlockable. In the context of the Africa Forward Summit, Africa owns about 13 million square kilometers of exclusive economic zone. There are at least five channels through which traffic passes through. So Bab el Mandab, you're thinking about the Suez Canal, you're thinking about Strait of Gibraltar.
Yes.
You're thinking about the Cape of Good Hope, and you think about the Mozambique Channel. Those are all avenues for sea or conveyance of goods.
Yeah.
Then the last one which I'd like to speak to, but it's not certainly the least,
right,
is the issue of seafarers. Seafarers, if you think about the Philippines has in the order of 350 to 400,000 seafarers. Those are the number of Filipinos who are serving as seafarers, both as officers, cadets, and deck crew, and also hospitality. And they bring in to the Philippines close to $6.8 billion.
Like now, when you say for hospitality, you mean like the cruise ships?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's about 6.79 billion dollars a year from seafarers.
And that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money that we are not exploiting. At independence, around that time, I think we had about 10,000 Kenyans out there as seafarers. Today, we have anything in the order of 3,000, 4,000. So there is a significant potential that is there to be exploited. And that's what we are on about.
Okay. Yeah. Well, when you mentioned 2%, to be honest, I've been here thinking that perhaps that figure is a bit higher. I wasn't definitely even in my mind we were above 15%. Now you're telling me that some of the countries that are exploiting this particular economy very well are doing in the regions of 20%. So that means that we have got a long way to go and a lot to do. What really is stopping us from achieving more than 2%? What would it take, for example, for us to triple that number to something like 6-7%?
We normally use for effect. We normally say we are suffering, we have this resource that is staring at us, but we seem to be blind to it. So we normally, just to get the attention of teams, talk about sea blindness.
Yeah.
In the sense that structures, policy structures, and so on, budgetary structures, institutional arrangements, and even the way people look at this resource has to there has to be a paradigm shift.
Okay.
And look at it as something that we exploit, and we say this in basic terms because the fact that you are not exploiting it does not mean other people are not. So if we talk about marine fisheries, for instance, we're doing less than 13%. The fish that is there are what are called straddling resources, because they straddle and they move. So on the Kenyan border with Somalia, for instance, it is home to one of the world's largest upwelling zones. An upwelling zone is basically a place in the ocean where the warm waters and the cold waters meet. And that interaction creates a perfect ground for fish to find food and to breed. As my colleague, who is the expert in fisheries, would say, this is the place where you find food for the fish, where they'll come to the surface. They are closer to the surface when they are moving, and it's easier for them to fish.
Okay.
So if somebody would take time to look at where the fishing effort is for some of the fishing entities, you'd find it's close to that region.
Okay.
Yeah. So the fact that you are not exploiting it means doesn't mean that
someone else is not.
Somebody else is out there doing it. So we have a phenomenon called illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing.
Meaning we have foreign...
Meaning we have foreign entities who are basically catching the fish.
In our waters.
In and around our waters.
Yeah.
And we are not aware of that. Or we basically don't have the capacities and capabilities to deal with that. And that's why it's really important that Kenya and other African countries, in the context of different regional arrangements, work together to enable the capacities that are necessary to exploit these resources.
The Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute, does it play a role in understanding the things that you have just spoken to?
Indeed, the Kenya Marine Fisheries and Research Institute is responsible for what we call fish stock assessment. Because, if you don't have, just like on land, if the way we farm leads to acidity of the soil, your yields will drop, irrespective of how much fertilizer you put in. So one of the basic imperatives is to ensure that the ocean is healthy. And that's one of the things that Kenya Marine Fisheries and Research Institute does. To, number one, tell us how much fish or biomass is available. How much can we realistically exploit without affecting the base? Yeah, so they do that.
Yeah. And we don't eat the entire stock.
You don't eat the entire stock. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You've made me a sad person this morning when you said that we have foreign entities fishing in our waters, and then they are able to exploit because they probably have the resources. We keep on talking about collaboration, and we are talking to other countries that, development partners from the US, UK, China, Japan, and Korea. Is it not possible to just talk to them to help us have these resources? The same way we talk to them, they come and they build roads for us, they build universities for us, and they build other institutions for us. Isn't this a conversation we can have with them as part of the wider conversation about developing our country?
In economics, we say there's no free lunch.
Yes.
And I think from where we sit, I think the incentive framework that would allow the establishment of... So let me step back a bit.
Yes.
If you want to exploit this resource, you must land it onshore. So if I catch the fish,
yes,
for the country to benefit, you must bring it
on land.
On land.
Yes.
Because once it gets there, then you are able to begin the process of value retention. So to do that, we need to establish fish processing facilities. Okay?
Yes.
That are capable of handling the volumes. And that is something that as a country we are doing to put together the incentive framework that would allow that investment to take place. And the biggest, we need to either export or consume the fish locally. To do that, we still need to process it onshore. So that's one of the gaps that we need to close quickly.
Yes.
So that we are able to bring the fish onshore. So we need fish processing facilities in Mombasa, in Shimoni, in Kilifi, in Lamu, to land the fish. Yeah, that's one of the gaps. That the government is trying to close.
Right. Once upon a time, we had a Kenya National Shipping Line established in 1987.
Kenya National Shipping Line.
Yes, we had a shipping line.
Okay.
Okay, let me do what the good doctor has done. Let me go back a bit.
Okay.
Okay? Before the East African community collapsed, many of these functions were an East African function. So when the East African community collapsed, we then developed our own. But we did. No, we do have a Kenya National Shipping Line. How does it participate and how does it meld into the discussion that we're having about the blue economy?
That's an interesting question. We still have the Kenya National Shipping Line.
Yes.
It's not as vibrant as we would like it to be, but the process of reviving it is ongoing. I would prefer not to talk about what specifically they're doing. You would, I think you need to get the CEO to come here to tell you what he is actually doing to get it revived. Suffice it to say this, the shipping line, having a vibrant shipping line is extremely important to the question of unlocking. And I will explain it in this way. We said 90% of our imports and exports are seaborne. So if you're bringing in, think about when you're bringing in a container.
Yes.
What are the charges you pay?
There's some insurance somewhere.
Okay.
The shipping of it.
All right.
Then there are some taxes when they get here.
Yeah.
Right.
Then there's the transportation
Then
of them.
Transportation.
Then there's the warehousing of them. Yes.
So you're bringing in a container, let's say from Shanghai, from Guangzhou to Nairobi, for instance. The vessel that conveys it from Shanghai to Mombasa is a foreign shipping line. Is foreign. It's processed at the port, and then it's locally transported from the port to your location.
Yes.
So you pay freight charges. You also pay, so there is cost, then there is the insurance, then there is freight. And then there is something called destination charges. Destination charges.
The port is not the destination.
Yeah, you pay.
So my house is the destination.
Yeah, so they are called destination charges. Basically, you pay terminal handling charges.
Yes.
You pay container cleaning and repair charges. You pay deposit for the container. These destination charges account for anything between 50 and 52% of what you pay.
Okay.
And that's where the importance of having an effective shipping line comes in. All these charges you're paying in dollars, so basically it's scarce foreign exchange.
Yes.
Leaving the country. And those numbers are significant. I think ballpark estimate is anything close to 525 billion that we are basically taking out.
Is this yearly or daily
Annually.
or monthly? Okay, annually. Okay.
So if you think about how I'm going to reduce the cost to you, how I'm going to let you have better cash flow.
Yes.
I need to reduce these destination charges because they then have an impact on the final goods and services. So that's where an effective shipping line comes in, because then you either are able to capture part of that rent and apply it locally, or you're able to create some pseudo competition that then is able to
lower the
prices for the whatever. So from a policy perspective, from a bigger game plan point of view, that's where the shipping line fits in. The details on how they are reviving it, I think I would rather have the CEO himself come and speak to it.
Utatuconnect na yeye na tutamuita. Sisi hatukwangi wabaya.
There's this discussion also about how to protect our borders, how to protect the outer limits of our maritime borders.
Yes.
And countries that do this have something called a coast guard.
Yes.
Can you speak to this?
Indeed, that's part of the reason why the process of unlocking, remember we're talking about unlocking, that was part of the reason why the Kenya Coast Guard Service was created. So they are responsible for playing that service within our territorial waters. When you think about what as I explained, you have the EEZ, and our waters are split into different components. There is the territorial sea, which is about 9,700 square kilometers. Then you have the EEZ, which is about 142,400 square kilometers. Then you have the extended continental shelf area, which is about 103,400 square kilometers. So this is and different rules apply. Coast Guard is a policing function. So there is close engagement between the Coast Guard, the Navy, and other partners in creating what we call maritime domain awareness, so that you know who is within your waters and what they are doing, and guaranteeing rights of innocent passage within that space. So it is there, it's growing. I think the effort is to increase its capability to be able to secure.
There's something one reads about very often, about the registrations of ships.
Yes.
You are told the name of the ship and you're told registered in Liberia.
Yes.
Philippines.
Yes.
This water they have is the same one we have. How is it then that we do not engage in this line of work? Because it is part of business in the maritime. Or, if I may add, what the Seychelles do. What they offer is what you call blue bonds, or debt for nature swaps. Things like that that take advantage of the fact that we actually have a maritime surface.
Two questions. You have two questions in one. One is ship register question. And the other one is the blue finance story.
Yes.
So establishing a ship register is one of the functions of the Kenya Maritime Authority, separate from shipping line and Kenya Marine Fisheries Research Institute. So Kenya takes responsibility for certain aspects of that vessel, wherever it is. But we also collect some charges, and I think that's an aspect that we are not doing too well about. But it's a business line that indeed should be we seek to exploit, because there are benefits to it. Now, regarding the blue finance story, that again is one of the things that will be discussed during this Africa Forward Summit, because the issue is you need to develop projects, because the people who will be putting money in these bonds and so on are looking for a return. So you really need to develop projects and programs that would respond to those imperatives, whether it's a businessman who is putting in money or an investor and they're looking for a return, or it is a philanthropist who is trying to promote a specific agenda that you're aligned to. You need to frame That so out of this discussion, in the 2 days, we hope to further this engagement around blue finance, thinking about long-term patient capital, so that we're able to develop some of these assets for exploiting the blue resources.
Yeah. No, because I'm thinking about a large part of the conversations then that you must be having, even in your role as an advisor, is on how to actually get the resources, and the funds are more or less critical. They're central to everything that we're going to do. How easy or difficult is it to find, number one, investors and to convince them to come and invest here so that they can grow that industry?
Okay. At the beginning, I said we have a resource in front of us that we are not exploiting.
Yes.
There are people exploiting it. So there are already markets that are absorbing those resources. So again, if I use the fisheries one as an example,
yes,
you have what are called distant water fishing nations. You have China, you have, I'm not sure I want to speak to specific countries. We have distant water fishing nations who are within our waters.
Yes.
And they also have what are called processing industrial ships or industrial fishing ships, where the fish is caught, processed at sea, packaged, and sent to the various markets. The question we have to address is the issue of incentives. And part of the incentives require that you're able to govern your
resource,
your resource and your waters. So when you're talking about the exclusive economic zone, if we do not have the capacity to govern that resources, anybody will come in. So if you have your shamba somewhere out there and nobody
is telling to it,
somebody goes in and takes charge.
Ataliba na atavuna.
Precisely.
So
one of the key issues is around maritime sovereignty and ocean governance. Being able to know the extent of your waters, and being able to govern them. So I need to know that Mbuvi is in my waters, and how much fish is he harvesting, and how do I extract my rent from that.
Okay, so we have that option.
So the game plan is very simple. I give you permission to fish. You land that fish in my waters. First step, land it in my water onshore.
On my land, yes.
I charge you a landing fee. Okay? I get revenue from that. You process it.
I still charge you for that.
I still charge you for that because the value multiplies. Interesting thing about fish, no part of it goes to waste.
Even the bones, the eyes,
nothing goes to waste.
Yes.
Okay? So you do the filleting, the bones, the blood, the skin, and whatever. That waste is turned into fish meal, into fish oil, into
the dietary pills.
The dietary pills that you hold, as the omega, the various whatevers. All that is value.
Yes.
Okay. And if you see the connection here, we are importing more than, I think, 200 billion worth of animal feed. Okay. But if we are able to process our fish, that fish meal will then be used to cut out that export. So it's very important that that is done.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a question of incentives. And don't think about this as a foreign investor coming in to invest. No, even Movie City Muga, myself,
yes,
with a proper incentive framework, we shouldn't be fighting for the 50 by 100. Yeah, all the chamas and the money that is there.
Yes.
If that money is put together, people are able to invest in actual fish processing facilities, and they would earn an income from that. So the question that we need to get right is the proper incentive framework. And that incentive framework, it's not only about those regulations, it's also about being able to dominate your territory, to know that somebody is out there.
Yes.
And for them to know that they will pay a price if they.
What is the role of the counties that are around some of these resources? And since we are talking about the ocean, so we have those counties there, Kina Mombasa, Lamu, Kwale, of course. What are they? What is their role as far as us, Kenya, exploiting those particular resources? Is there is there a collaboration of sorts with the county governments? Is there a collaboration with the businessmen in those counties, or is everything being done from the central government and then trickles down?
There's a big collaboration between there has to be a big collaboration between the national government and the county governments in ensuring we're able to exploit this value chain. One of them would be around organizing the fisher folk into viable cooperatives that would allow them to receive the support that is needed for them to be able to benefit. Let me give you an example.
Yes.
If you have a functioning beach management unit, then you are able to make arrangements, because fish, if you've been to the coast sometimes, fish starts to rot immediately. It's
out of the water. So you need to get it. That's why immediately you catch it, it's supposed to go into
a fridge, into ice.
Okay.
So immediately they bring the fish on shore, they need to have a place where they're able to clean the fish, they're able to put it on ice until they're able to sell it. So the county government would help in establishing the facilities for a landing site. For a landing site, that would include the ice, it will include clean water, it will include weighing, place where the fish is weighed, because that's how the government starts collecting revenue. For different species of fish, there is a charge.
Okay.
Yeah. And also then you're able to know whether you are catching the younglings or you're also catching the right type of fish.
Yeah.
You're also able to know whether somebody is just catching the fish for sustenance, for the family to eat, or they're also catching it to sell. So the county government has an important role to play in helping to organize the beach management units and the fisher folk into entities that can then fit into this value chain.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, what you say is actually fundamental to it, and the role of the county governments in ensuring that if that particular economy at the level of the citizenry who live around water bodies, how much support? I'm actually framing this question in my mind because I'm picturing things I've seen and I've witnessed, and I'm trying to find a polite way of asking the question. What role would be considered significant for the county governments to play in order to essentially make this particular economy viable for the wananchi who actually do the fishing? When they're talking about Lamu, when they're talking about Mombasa, they're talking about Kwale, you're talking about Bita, you're talking about Mfangano, Homa Bay, Kisumu, all these places. Because what makes for that economy to be vibrant requires a little more investment beyond a small vehicle that has which is a refrigerated truck. It has to be something bigger.
Very good point made there. And when we are talking about these investors to invest in the processing facilities, and let me not belabor the point of fisheries, even the training academies for seafarers, county governments have a role to play, because there is nothing that stops a county government setting up an investment arm, either on its own or with other like-minded counties, to become investors in fish processing facilities. Again, here the question is, how do we help counties to be able then to structure that? So let me ask and give an example. So if I want to invest in a 50,000 metric ton processing facility in County A, for instance, the county could be helped to structure that investment, on which basis then it would, because they have access to land, which is an important component, they have access to the legal framework, and by being able to structure that investment, they're able to bring investors into their county, who would then be the anchor receiver of what the beach management units are able to bring on board. These beach management units can be transitioned over time into SMEs, MSMEs, and into large corporations, so that you're looking at this as a business. That's the support that counties can receive, and we're hoping that out of the discussions that go on, that we'll be able to get things such as this moving on a much faster pace.
Because if I look at the fishing that one sees, say for instance in Lake Victoria, it's artisanal. They are vessels that one uses for fishing. It doesn't have to be a trawler. There are vessels that one uses that are intermediate, that a SACCO or a beach management unit can own.
Indeed.
It would make for efficient fishing, it could make for efficient harvesting, and it would make for that, should we say, the entire process would be that much more valuable to the people who are engaged in that line of business. But one doesn't see it. Yet, we have something very unique in Mombasa. We have a shipbuilding yard, Southern Engineering Company. One doesn't take advantage of something of this sort. It's not just building, they even repair ships. They can build things like ferries. It's a full complement for seafaring vessels. We have neighbors who have ordered vessels from that particular unit, ferries and the like, because it meets the standards that we have. So in terms of just the business that one could get from this entity, we would not need to actually buy the seafaring vessels for our lake from some other part of the world. It's something that we could actually manufacture.
There is an entity called the Kenya Shipyard.
Yes.
Limited, which is basically Kenya's play to get into the shipbuilding.
Yes.
In a much stronger way.
Yes.
Shipbuilding and repair segment of the blue economy. So every as the discussion goes on, you can see there are very many components that we are building, or we are laying the foundation for the country to grow in. So the Kenya Shipyard, the company he's talking about, I think it's Southern
Engineering Company Limited.
Yeah, and even the artisanal shipbuilders who use fiberglass to build boats. They're using the fiberglass, some use timber to build ships. Boats. Those are the foundational elements for building shipbuilding and repair sector. It's still nascent, but the long-term intent is there to ensure that you have a vibrant sector, particularly because, like I pointed out, we are at the confluence of very major shipping lanes. So if a vessel needs an engine repaired, or it needs to dry dock, or it needs to do certain things, then you have the assets that enable you to do that. Yeah. So it's a work in progress. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
In regards to how the blue economy is contributing to climate resilience, what would be your thoughts on that?
The oceans, the data shows that the oceans are a very important instrument in absorbing the carbon component. So I think one of the things that I know that, for instance, Kenya Marine Fisheries and Research Institute is doing is restoring the mangroves at the coast. So that's a significant activity that is going on.
Yes.
There is a process of developing sustainable ocean plans, or the Sustainable Ocean Plan, which would essentially, just the way we do a spatial plan for the land, we need to do
one for the ocean.
One for the ocean that determines which activities are happening and where are they happening. Protecting of areas where the fish are growing, so marine spatial plan that helps to determine how do you allow, which uses do you allow where within our waters, so that you are able to protect. So signing on to covenants such as the 30 by 30 protocol that says that you preserve 30% of your maritime waters into marine protected areas by the year 2030 is also part of that effort of ensuring that our ocean is healthy and sustains us for the long term.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are achieving that?
We are on our way to that. I don't have the numbers offered in terms of where we are.
Yes.
But that process is going on through Kemfree, Kenya Wildlife Service.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can the blue economy sustainably assure Africa's food sovereignty?
Yes. It is a key. It's a key component. Just quite apart from what is it called, fish. I would encourage you to find out the origin of fish and chips.
I believe. Let me say this. I believe it was somewhere in the UK.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Fish and chips. Do you like fish and chips though, City Muga?
Why don't we just stay with the fish?
Hapo kwa fish wewe iko sawa.
Kabisa.
Kwa chips kidogo hiyo itakuwa another discussion.
Yes.
All right. Last but not least, Dr. maybe you can give us your parting shot as far as the blue economy is concerned, and give us some kind of projection as far as the future is concerned.
Well, for me and for us, our ability to exploit the ocean depends on our ability to govern it, and we must build the capacity and the capabilities to govern this resource if we are going to exploit it in a way that is sustainable. We know we can create a significant amount of jobs. We can generate significant foreign exchange. we can address our food and nutrition security through the resources that are there. So our ability to govern it and our ability to exploit it is something that we must build. It's something, in some sectors it will be quick, in others it will be a long-term effort.
Okay.
But we will get there.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Eric. Like I said, that is where we come to a stop. And if you can connect us with Uliweta nini? Kenya Shipping Line.
Kenya National Shipping Line.
Kenya National Shipping Line, eh?
Yes, Kenya National Shipping Line.
We need to get in touch with them so that they can come and explain a few things and a few questions we have in regards to that maritime space. But thank you so much for making time.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yes.
And I look forward.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's the news with Winnie Maganga. I'll be seeing you tonight on the Generation Report with Hanifa Dan and Abdisamad Logan, the other folks who are going to be giving us the news as far as the bulletins today are concerned. But for now, tunasema have a good morning.
This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. The IBC has received 3 pallets of ballot papers and statutory forms at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport this morning. This comes ahead of the 14th of May 2026 by-elections in Emurua Dikir, Poro and Endo wards. The materials printed in Athens, Greece, were received in the presence of political parties and the media to ensure transparency as the Commission prepares for free, fair and credible elections. Governance commentator Abdullahi Alas says Kenya's political system is held back by patronage and weak institutions. Speaking during an interview on Radio Generation today, he said political parties function as tools of compliance rather than ideology, while decision-making is often influenced by informal networks of power, including hired elders.